ഫോട്ടോ വെച്ചില്ലേ? ഫോട്ടോ വെച്ച് നല്ല സ്ഥലം. മട്ടാഞ്ചേരി അല്ലേ? നല്ല സ്ഥലമായിരുന്നു മട്ടാഞ്ചേരി. യെസ്, സിനഗോഗ്. Pranams everybody. Nithyanandam from Kanyanad. Okay, people are still joining. We are recording this event also for the rest of the people. It's very hot here. A couple of us are sitting here. Very, very hot. But still managing. 3-4 of them have come from Kerala. Look, they are sitting here. Okay, people are joining slowly. Let them. You didn't see that? I was telling we are 4-5 people here. Last time, if you were there, most of us were here, sitting in this hall. Open hall because there is a lot of wind here. Very, very hot. Because this is Kerala. Okay. So we will begin with the Sutras of Self-Realization. This is what I was going through today, the same book, Chidakasha Gita. And Bhagawan has talked so much about it. We have done Chidakasha Gita in English. We have done it extensively in Hindi. Now we can go through the Sar of it. Sar means the essence of Chidakasha Gita. So those who have done English, those who have done Hindi, it will become very easy for you to go through this, understand. And the more we talk on this, the more we do on this, the more the Nithyananda Tattva becomes easy. So we'll begin today's session. Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya, om shanti shanti shanti. क्या हुआ, क्यों रो रहे हो आप लोग? That's the grace of Nithyananda. Take his name and you feel like crying. This place is very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So those who have come here, those who have experienced it here, know it, how it is. Nithyananda is in our hearts and he's the one who guides us. These are all people who don't take credits. Nithyananda, Avadhuts, or these ascended masters always work from the background. Hardly anybody take their name also, you can see. Nobody even takes their name. Forget even talking about their teachings. Hardly anybody mentions about them. And they are not bothered. People like Nithyananda, Ramana, are not bothered. Rare beings these are. Once in a lifetime you can encounter such kind of beings. And we are in a generation where we did not directly encounter them. You can see we did not directly encounter them, but you can see the power that they still hold. Not in body, and still they can touch lives. They can transform lives. I can fully vouch for this. I have never seen him physically, but I can vouch for his presence all the time in my life. One master that simply, it's like a Midas touch. So I've told my story many of the time. Many of you have your own stories, how Nithyananda touches, even if you don't know him. So many reasons, so many ways he enters the life, he touches and he simply takes us, he guides us. And Nithyananda is that engine who promises all the time. He has said that this is the engine, those who attach their bogies to this engine will take care of it. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. You attach it once to that tattva and leave it off. Last time we discussed this. If you have attached your engine to this bogie to this engine, what can the compartments do? What can the bogies do? Look at a train. चलती है क्या किसी की? Once it is attached to the engine, then the engine simply drags it to the destination. What can the bogie do? So that connection is important. Once you get connected, then, but if you are not connected, you might remain wherever you are. The engine might go, but the bogie is there. So this engine bogie and all is good because they're sitting next to the railway tracks only. Nithyananda loved trains. That is why so many leelas he did in and around trains. You can see even in Chidakasha Gita, he's giving so much of examples through trains. Okay. So it's a blessing to feel connected, to be blessed by him, to touch by him. I have had tremendous moments in my life with Nithyananda, various aspects of life, where I simply used to burst out, burst out, burst out. I'm not knowing for why I'm crying. There's so many people here. Last time if you went into the cave and you started crying, you don't know why. Ruby was here. She was weeping like in the cave. Don't know why. So no need to know why. That's their subtle touch. They touch in that manner. Imagine that girl, Ruby, coming all the way from US and she doesn't even know Nithyananda. Then I asked her, why did you come here? Because Tiruvannamalai, so many advertisements we put. You never applied that at any time. She said, no, I felt like I should come here. The moment I saw this banner, I immediately, because I know I put it and within 1 hour I got her registration. She sent the money, everything. Who can explain this? Past life connections. Some life connections with Nithyananda, only this can happen. Those who feel very touched. These are all multiple lifetime connections, not just one lifetime. So it might be difficult for the conscious mind to understand all these things. But the soul understands. Soul is very much connected to all these things. And in our deep subconscious, it's all there in the Akashic records. All these details are there. And that is why when that girl came, she went entered into that cave, which everybody is so scared to go, and she sat for almost 2 hours inside that, having her own release and all those things. And without connection, it's not possible that somebody come all the way from there and just they have a knowing that I should go there, I should do this, I should do that. So feel blessed if you have a strong connection, because that strong connection is grace. I always had learned that emotion is power in spirituality. So if you are an emotional person, sensitive person, that's a very powerful trait. Bhakti. Bhakti is very, very powerful. Bhakti can take you, devotion can take you like nothing. The power of devotion is very, very powerful. One is the intellectual power that we do, but if you have the gift of being emotional, sensitive, then because being sensitive and emotional is a very subtle quality. When the aham becomes subtle only, you can be tickled. You can be easily having emotions or outbursts. But if the aham is strong, it's not so easy. Not that it's needed 100%. No, everybody is different. Prakriti is different. So according to everybody's individual Prakriti, we work. That is why the 4 margas. Somebody is not having emotions, but very physically strong. For them, karma yoga. Somebody is not physically strong, but bhava is active, bhakti yoga. Somebody cannot have devotion, they are not sensitive, they are not emotional, and they are not even physical, but they are intellectual. Gyan marg. Intellectually, they are very strong. Power of discrimination, viveka is there. Gyan marg. None of these three qualities, but I am an inward person, not extrovert at all. I can just be introvert. Rajyo, you become meditative. So these four basic margas are according to our four structures. Human beings are basically divided into these four. Basically, all human beings are divided into. So somebody will have this tattva more, somebody will have that tattva more. What I am trying to tell is, do not ignore any of the tattva. If you are physically strong, great. You can use them. If you are emotionally strong, yes, you can use bhakti bhava in that. And if you are still person, if you are inwardly person, introverted person, you can be a Rajyogi. You can be a good meditator. And if you are a very intellectual person, thinking person, dissecting everything, you can be intellectual. But if you can blend all these four, it will become a volcano. Physically also you are there actively involved. Like for example, you have this bhava of seva. You see somewhere and you go and jump into that service. Means not of your own also. Anywhere you're just moving and people are eating something or something, you jump in, you start serving food. Somebody is dead and their funeral is going, you simply get involved without anything. You are enthusiastic because you have energy, physical activities. Somebody has financial strengths. That's again in the physical aspects. So you can see they do a lot of charity. Whichever is your strength, that can be added into spirituality. And if you are a blend of everything, which is what I strongly suggest, because I see myself having a blend of everything. And that has helped in a great way. It can boost us. So you find out if you have these kind of qualities, you can always boost them. Don't spare any of these. So if you have bhava, bhakti, you can always sing devotional songs. You can even do worship in that manner. You can, it's possible. Because that is what we'll see today, even how bhakti can give additional boost. Parabhakti. Very powerful. It's like Mirabai's bhakti. You can melt because what happens in bhakti when you dissolve yourself, the ego dissolves. The I goes down, and you can see Mahaprabhu, Chaitananda, Nithyananda Mahaprabhu. They can dance on the streets. Grossness is gone. So when you become like fluid, it's very easy to flex yourself, to dance, to sing, to jump, be in excitement of that spirituality. That's also all good. Basically, I feel if you bring a blend of all these four, you get a complete life. You can be very powerful in all the activities of life. Otherwise, you can still have reservations. You can say, no, I'm an introvert. I don't like all these things. I'll contemplate. Who am I? Good. That's not bad. But if the other qualities are there, or if you're hiding it, if you find it and you bring it out, you can have a very complete, joyful experience of life. You'll feel tripped very fast. So today what we are talking about is Nityananda's Tattva, where again it's from the Chidakasha Gita only. So here he has talked a lot about sadhana, the practices of taking the breath up, the Kundalini, and meditating on the Chidakasha. That we are not going to discuss today. If you are interested, you can always do the course, Chidakasha Gita. Hindi and English both are there. It's in depth. Today, what I want to discuss is the sar, the essence of all these things. So multiple times we have done this. So we know the teachings of Chidakasha Gita very well. So now, if we just go through the skeleton of what he's trying to explain in this whole thing, you had it like Upadesh Sar. What is Upadesh Sar? Bhagavad Gita. 30 verses taken from Bhagavad Gita. So what Krishna is talking in Bhagavad Gita all that extensively, Ramana Maharishi was wise enough to catch the sar. That is why Upadesh Sar, Upadesh Saram. He caught the sar of the Upadeshas, instructions. What is the essence of the instructions of Krishna? So he picked out 30 verses continuity. Okay, it's all in sequence. So that sequence one leads to the other. If you just take the skeleton of it, that's Upadesh Saram Bhagavad Gita. If you don't read also, if you just read the Upadesh Saram, you will come to know what Krishna is trying to explain. And it is talking about your journey towards self-realization. So you can have studied the Bhagavad Gita, but still have missed the Sar. That is possible. Like we may have studied the Chidakasha Gita, but we may have missed the skeletal part of it. So that we will go through today. That can help you understand how Nithyananda also is talking about self-realization in a different way. Ramana Maharshi is directly taking you to the inquiry or Gyan Marga. He is telling the importance of Karma Yoga, Karma Kanda, it's there. But then he says once that affiliation is over, then you slowly move towards Bhakti Marga, devotion. Then it starts with Swartha Bhakti, that you'll see even here resemblance. The first, when you have awakening in spirituality, it starts with selfish Bhakti, Swartha Bhakti. So I have a selfish need first, something. Selfish means for myself, me and mine. That is what is meant by selfish. So I have a selfish need, and it could be anything. My peace of mind, my health, my wealth, my family, my career, my relationships, my future, my life. It starts with that. Desires begin for that maintenance zone. And then we have bhakti towards God. So Nityananda explains here, in the beginning, bhakti is always selfish. Bhagawan Nithyananda says, in the start, bhakti is always selfish, not sometimes selfish. It is always selfish. It begins with Swartha Bhakti. Now I'd like you to contemplate on how is my bhakti Swartha. You reflect in your own life and see. How did my journey begin? Find out. Think about it. When you had spiritual awakening, how you came into this field. You will notice it is all Swartha. It is for me, something for me. And then I had a desire, I want a guru. Or I wanted something from God, temples, or I'm praying desperately, I need help. Something. I am in some problem, I want to come out of it. See, I want you to reflect very deeply. You might say, no. I was always from the start only wanting self-realization, mukti. I've always started from the start asked for mukti. It's not true. That is called Smashana Vairagya. Sometimes when the problems are too overwhelming, you will feel that ye jhanjat khatam kare. I want only God. I want liberation. I want mukti. I'm not interested in this. Actually, you're not interested because of the problems. Let's say the problems are taken away, you will come straight back. So that is what happens most of the time with all of us. That Nityananda also is telling in this. It begins with Smashan Vairagya. Temporary desirelessness, he calls it. I'll go through those. Temporary desirelessness means for a temporary period. When the problem is removed, you're back. Like Abdut Gita, Bhagavan Dattatreya, scripture, Smashan Vairagya is mentioned. You see problems, you see tsunami, you see a volcano attack, you see a war in Syria, or you see pandemic and people dying, and then you say, what the hell is this? Life is so cruel. There's no meaning to this. I don't get any meaning out of this. I've simply lost interest in this world, faith in this world, in life. It doesn't make any sense. So, oh God, take me, finish off everything. So that kind, or when you see in Avadut Gita, it says when you see a dead body, this happens. Suddenly you will be reminded of death. Then you'll say, oh my God, that person died, this person died, even I will have to die one day. And then you'll feel little depressed and sad. My death also is there. So when you go into that mode, what happens is you lose interest. And then you say, what is life after all? Even friends will sit and discuss. See, this is life. What kind of a life is this? So no use, no meaning only. And then philosophical also we can become. But in 4 days, 5 days, as life comes back to us, as samsara comes back to us, as Maya takes its own grip, as we forget that dead body, we get back again strongly with our vasana, then we want to live. So that is called Smashana Vairagya. Only when you go to the Smashana, you will get Vairagya. Like Manikarnika Ghat, if you go Banaras and go and sit there, for temporarily for that one day, you will be reeling under that. But by the time you come back home from Banaras, in a couple of days, you are back to the same old stuff. Smashan Vairagya. That is what Nithyananda is very clearly saying here. Temporary desirelessness. And he's telling, usse baat nahi banegi. Means it's not going to work with that kind of Vairagya. We might feel that's enough. No, that's just a tricky situation. So, Swartha Bhakti, it begins. I start with Bhakti. I want something. I have a desire. That is why I want that. Bhagawan Nithyananda very clearly tells also, if you are desireless, you don't even need a guru. I'll read that thing out. The need for a guru is because you have desires. So somehow you feel that person from outside come and can make up or give you solutions to your life so that you can finish your desires. Indirect it is. Okay? It's not direct. Very, very indirect. So we might call that spiritual desires. But as I told you, so something deep hidden, even in that spiritual desires. You'll see there is some deep worldly desires hidden under the cloak of the spiritual desires. So, what we are trying to say is almost all our desires is related to something for myself. Okay. For example, I want moksha. Why? Or I want Satchidananda, the blissfulness, which is explained in so many documents. When you get self-realized, I want that. Why do I want it? Because I'll be blissful. The other words for that is I'll not be sad. I'll be blissful. So I am not wanting sadness. So I want blissfulness. So here also you can see I want blissfulness is the word. I want Satchidananda for myself. So if a question is asked, what if self-realization is given to everybody? You might pause for some time and rethink. That's the nature of human tendency. It will always seek for itself only. What is the larger selfless goal is for everybody. See our prayers, what we do in the end. May we all involve, may we all be blessed, and may we all be free. Sabamuktu. Not just me. It's a prayer for everybody. Universal prayer. So, these simple gestures also can change our attitude from selfishness to selfless. Anything you want to achieve in life, you are wanting to share a bit of it with others. Even if you get happiness, you want to share that happiness with others. You get money, you want to share that money with somebody else. You get gyan, wisdom, you want to share that with somebody else. It's not just for me. I gather it, I gather it, I gather it. The sutra there is, if you work on that, it's very limited. I have told this before, the power of prayers. When you pray for yourself, check out. And when you pray for others, check out. What you want, you pray for others. That's a secret. You open-heartedly just pray whatever you want for others and see what will happen. Anything that is selfless will immediately be granted. That's the nature of the masters, especially. All the masters are that kind. Because masters themselves, you see, especially the Avadutas, Nithyananda, do you think this person ever lived for himself? Check it out. It might have started in the sense for himself, but it will always end up for others. Ramana was selfish in the start. He came to Arunachala, he climbed up the mountain and he sat in Skanda Acharam for 16 years, not wanting to come down, not interested in meeting people. He was simply withdrawn. And it took him 16 plus years to understand that's not the divine plan, because slowly people started finding him out, and slowly the word spread. People started visiting him. Moms started visiting people. Despite all the hardship, they found they are all chasing him and not allowing him to sit alone. Finally, he gave up and he said, "Thy will be done." I wanted to sit there in the cave, but you don't allow me. If that is your will, so be it. So, from selfishness, from myself, they turn to for everybody. And that is bhakti. What we are talking here in Chidakasha Gita is this bhakti, Swartha Bhakti and Niswartha Bhakti, Apara Bhakti and Parabhakti, Veda Bhakti and Abheda Bhakti. Veda Bhakti means the bhakti that we do outside 100% is selfish bhakti. No doubt about it. You might want to claim, you might want to refuse, you might want to object, all those things you can do, but investigate, you will find out whenever you do bhakti for any object, deity, thing, guru, outside, it is a selfish bhakti because you want definitely something out from there. That is why I said many of us are having gurus as ATM machines or security guards. Because these two factors always dominates greed and fear. So I'm greedy. I want hundreds of things in my life. So if Guru is there, he can give Guru Kripa, we'll call it. But in that cloak of Guru Kripa is hidden my greed. So through grace only you give me, but you give me, provide me, Swartha Bhakti. So that's Swartha Bhakti. Or I'm scared. I'm fearful of being alone. So you be with me. So when I say to my Guru, you be with me, that also is Swartha Bhakti because I'm scared. That's why I want you. Now the question is, if you are not ever scared, would you have a Guru? Contemplate right now. If I had all my desires fulfilled, I had nothing, everything is there, and I have no fear of anything. Would I need a Guru? You'll see automatically you wouldn't need because you are in that state of contentment. What else do you need? Everything is fulfilled. No fear of losing the body also. Then what is left? You are in thy will be done. Whatever is, everything is fine. And if everything is fine, why do you need a Guru? You need a Guru when things are not fine. Please understand this. So when things are not fine, when I want to make it fine, that's called Swartha Bhakti. That is what Nithyananda ends in 286 number, last verse of Chidakasha Gita also, stressing the importance of Parabhakti or Niswartha Bhakti. He says, until it becomes a desireless bhakti, it is not useful. It cannot lead you to self-realization. For God realization, it has to be Parabhakti, means Niswartha Bhakti. Abhed Bhakti, that bhakti which is coming from within you. You just imagine this simple situation. आपको दयाओ, आपको भजो, आपके राम आपके भीतर आप होके रहते हैं. Means your Ram is within you only. Meditate on yourself. Contemplate and reflect on yourself. In you, within you, is Ram himself sitting there as you. You feel I am something. But sitting there in this cloak of I is that Ram, that is the Atman. So I'm talking now about Parabhakti. When Parabhakti happens, it's not outside anymore. It's come to the inner. It's me, within me. It's me. It comes within. So if the direction is coming within now, just contemplate for a few seconds and see if I am the Lord, I am Shiva, or I am Shakti, I am Durga, I am Krishna, I am Ram. What is the feeling? The subjective awareness, what we are talking about. I am only that. Like Meera said, taking your name, I became Sham. प्रीतम का कुछ जोर नहीं है, वो तो है निर्दोष। प्रेम की माला जपते जपते हो गई मैं शाम। इट्स नॉट द फॉल्ट ऑफ माई लवर. Lover did not do anything. Don't blame him. Don't. Because of Krishna, you have become mad. प्रेम की माला जपते जपते love. Chanting word as Bhed Bhakti. You are outside. I'm chanting your name, chanting. I became Sham. हो गई मैं Sham. So just imagine the situation. Just you can even feel or contemplate. If I become Sham, I become Ram, I become Krishna, I become my Guru. Just imagine the situation. Just simple contemplation. This head is my Guru, this head is Krishna's, this hand is Krishna's, this feet is Rama's, whole body is Ma Shakti's, or this body is Mirabai's, or this body is Radha. Radha is the lover of Krishna. Lover means not the grossly love. Radha, Krishna means Sat and Chit only. Ram, Sita means Sat and Chit only. Okay, they are not different. Multiple stories, that's all. Multiple variations. So Radha is nothing but Shakti aspects. So if you jump Radha also, you become Krishna. Shiva Sutras. Shiva Sutra, Shiva says, you unite with Shakti is as good as uniting with me, because Shakti and me are inseparable. You unite with Shakti and become one, you have become one with me. If you don't have to directly come to me. One aspect of it. That is the concept of Radha Krishna. You hold on to the other aspect of the Krishna Tattva, you become the wholesome. You chant Siya Ram, Siya is there, Siya Mata is there, or Sita is there. You chant on her chastity, her purity, man will become Nirmal. When man will become Nirmal, you become Nischal. Nischala Tattva is Ram or Shiva. However you take it, these two are inseparable. So, in the last batch, we had done that in Tirunamala, where we were contemplating on being the prana. And many of you had goosebumps. Many of you had tears and experiences. When you realize that I am Shakti, first-hand experience of I am Shakti, Praneshwari, how close it is. Now, in that similar, even intellectually, if you do also, just think, imagine your whole body, you only have become Premiki Mala Japte Japte Ho Gayi Main Sham. Even if it is intellectual, become aware of yourself as Ram, Krishna, Shakti, Hanuman, Shiva, whatever is your deity, or my Guru. Now you tell me, what will you ask this? Your deity is this. Or you are experiencing it subjectively. I am only that. Now try to ask your desires. Can you see the difficulty in asking something there when you become that? How are you going to ask yourself? That only you separate and make it Ved Bhakti, put that person in a photo, you will start begging. Ye de do, wo de do. This is why he means Ved Bhakti is Swartha Bhakti. Aved Bhakti is Niswartha Bhakti. So Nithyananda ends Chidakasha saying that come to the state of Parabhakti, become fully aware of your so-called Bhakti. It is not pure. It has got still some mischief. It has got some demands, some desires. So the theme of Chidakasha Gita is to become desireless. And that is why he is adding now these two important terms of Chidakasha, desirelessness and bhakti, devotion. And he calls it desireless bhakti. All those who did Chidakasha Gita will see that. fully. It is loaded with desirelessness. You have to have desires for self-realization. And on the other side, he says you have to have that devotion. What kind of devotion? Not that Ganti Bhajan, Narel Podne wala, Agarbatti. Not that devotion. This Parabhakti devotion. Even if you don't have that, he's telling strive for that. Forget all the Veda. So what are we doing indirectly then? Upadesh Saram. Karma Yoga. Then it becomes Bhakti Yoga from outside. Then that Bhakti Yoga turns within. And all those things that you have outside, all your fantasies outside, it starts going inside. So now you have nowhere to hunt anything. Wherever you are sitting, you are meditating on that, you are praying to that, you are seeking from that, and you will see your seeking purifies. You cannot ask all that. Try right now, only sit and ask yourself. What are you going to ask yourself? You will not be in a position to ask. Because you are experiencing divinity, there is nothing to ask. You feel complete there. That's what I am trying to tell you. Whenever we did those practices, and when you're experiencing yourself as Shakti and brimming with that joy and that ecstasy or that energy, where is the question of asking anything? You are that complete. So all the asking will drop when you turn into Parabhakti. That is one of the most important theme of Chidakasha Gita. So, and then finally, when that Bhakti becomes internal, then you're ready for Raj Yoga. It is deep meditations. Because by now, you have become Nishchala. What did I say? You put your photo outside, you will become Chanchala. You just imagine. Okay, now let's take another example. Imagine yourself going to the temple, whichever god you like. You are entering the temple, become aware, become conscious that you are entering the temple. Now, from entering the temple till the time you come out, just quickly imagine what all you do. You must have imagined the whole thing. All your actions you must have seen. Now, can you see, reflect and see how much karma yoga is there in that? The first rung of the ladder. Karma yoga means physical. You have to walk, you have to go, you have to bound, Sasha Dandvat Pranam, then take the prasad, or do the arti, and do the Girivalam or that, what is that? Giri Pradakshina or Pradakshina around the Garbhagraha, and see what all you do, this, turning around, darshan. Can you see the bodily activity? Now you imagine you are the altar, which we did the other day. Whoever did that, one night we did. I'm the altar. God is within me. I'm the temple. Now you are the temple. The whole temple only is you. Within you, here in your heart center or in your room madhya, Chidakasha, is the Lord is sitting. The same Ishta is sitting. Now enter into your temple, into your own temple, and experience the God. Now you see how much activities are you doing. So you might be observant and you'll find out the more closer you are to the Lord or your activities will stop. That is what I'm telling. Nischala Tattva will come there. You put it outside, you will become more chanchala. What all you have to do, run around. See the activities. Chanchalata that is. That only if you bring that bhakti within, turn introvert, become nischala. Simple. So nischala tattva, this Raj Yoga is going inside. Raj Yoga is inwardly. You can go that these steps these are. After Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga. Then I become a Raj Yogi, I turn within. Raj Yoga begins. Then all my activities inside. Chidakasha Gita, the prana moving the Shakti up to the Shiva. All this is inside. There is nothing outside. Everything internalized. Sukshma activity. It is not even Hatha Yoga. That is the warning of Chidakasha Gita. Don't do Hatha Yoga. You might say, now Kundalini upar lena hai. Breath work is there. So I have to start now, huffing and puffing. God, to take the breath, I have to push it out, I have to do this kriya, I have to do that kriya, then something will happen. This is chanchalta. Bhagawan Nithyananda is talking about Nischala Kriyas. What is Nischala Kriya? Sitting there through your awareness, going to the Muladhara, activating the energy there. And through your awareness, pulling up the energy through your Sushumna, bringing it here in the Chidakasha. We have done now this in the courses. If you are interested, do the courses. All these practices have been done. Where Chanchalta is there, tell me. Sitting down, you are still and doing it. Nischala. Can you see the difference? What we are trying to tell? Whenever internal practice, anything you do, it is Nischala. So, a Raj Yogi, what he's talking is internal practice. That is why he's telling when your Chitta comes till here, your consciousness rises above all this Chanchal nature. Below the Vishuddhi is all Chanchal only. You imagine your Swadhisthana and Muladhara, Satarna, dangerously Chanchal it is. What is Muladhara? Complete desires, worldly desires, hundreds and thousands of, and visible and invisible, all kind of desires. So if your Chetana is there, you will find yourself dancing to the tunes of Sansara. Or you can put it the other way. If I'm too much dancing around in this world, party, sharty, social gatherings, and then all the requirements of my house, the decorations, my body decorations, my physical needs, my jhumkas, my necklaces, my costly shirts, my branded Rolex, my golden Sri Yantra, show off yantras, all those things, hundreds of things, 100% Swadhisthana and Muladhara, Chetana, however define you call it. You might say I'm a great yogi or something. You're a bhogi. Yogi ke gale mein Swarna is a bhogi. I won't hesitate to tell that, even on the loudspeaker. Sachai, sachai. That is why you will see all these yogis are chanchal. They can't sit in one place. Restless. Their goals will never end. Their objectives will never end. They are like Alexander, want to expand their kingdom. I've given this many examples where even I've been with many saints also, visiting here and there, sometimes Avadutas, and how Avadutas have even scolded them. To one, the Avadut said, your ashram is your desire. Anubhavananda Swami says ashram is a pujli. जो कभी मिटती नहीं. Don't like, don't listen. But this is the truth. So if you go with Kujli people, you will also get Kujli only. Nothing else. Because the concepts are all that. It's hidden. There's something talking about divinity, but there is full Maya and there is full of lust for life, power, greed. It's all your down. Manipuraka power, Swadhisthana, indefinable kind of desires for everything, experience of it. And your Muladhara is strong, grounded. You want to be just grounded in your body. You'll develop six packs and muscles and this and that. Muladhara. It's your Muladhara. Prithvi Tattva. Make this Jada Prithvi. So, these three are the lower ones. It's not that you don't need it, but when there is an off balance, then you go too much into that, then you are. You need that also. You need a little bit of that because so that you don't fly away. Those who are not having it, they will fly. Upper three chakras will get active and then they are always sitting in samadhi. They can't ground themselves. They can sit for hours together and call it spirituality. No. And then I say, okay, come back. Come back from your meditation. Open your eyes, Bhairav Mudra, and close it. No, I'm in deep samadhi. I can't. No, you're not in deep samadhi. You're flown. 3 lower chakras not active. No imbalance. Gone with the wind. That is why we say being centered. Your heart is the center. Heart is what? Center. Upper 3 chakras, below 3 chakras. You remain in the center. That is called being centered. Awareness will teach you to remain centered without going to extreme. So, Raj Yogi, when you become in that Raj Yogi, it's all internalized. All this thing is internalized. And whatever I'm talking about, these 3 tattvas, 1 ounce also you will not find in Chidakasha Gita. He's not interested in your families, in family dramas, in the worldly maintenance, in the houses, in futures and career. See, he is not talking about it here. Simply not talking about it. So, do you call that ruthless? No, not ruthless. Because he is giving the sutras for self-realization. That is what we are trying to understand. If you want self-realization, you cannot play around the fool and then justify and say this is also needed. You try it, you will be there. Why do we think without reason will they talk? Nithyananda, is he ruthless? Actually, he gave solution to everybody. Whoever came to him, nobody came to him for moksha. Hardly anybody came to him. That is why while leaving the body also Nithyananda said, "Ek kundli ko leke aao, main rukta hu." One that kind of a disciple. They were all crying, Baba, don't go. We need you. And he knows why they need him. God. And he said, one Pundalik, let him come, I'll stay. Pundalik means that desireless bhakti. जिसको कोई उनका और कोई लेना देना नहीं, उनका कुर्सी नहीं लेना है, उनका सोना चांदी नहीं लेना है, उनका और कोई ले लेना है, नो टाइटल नहीं लेना है, ब्रांड नहीं लेना है, nothing needed, just for the love of the Guru Tattva. Anybody there? I'll stay back. And nobody came, Nithyananda didn't stay. End of the story. Ruthless teachings, mystics these are. ये घुमा फिरा की बात नहीं करेंगे. Okay, so when we are connected to these mystics, you hear me talk the same. घुमा फिरा की बात नहीं. So if you are interested in Avadut Tattvas, you will stay here. Anything below that, you'll go there. So from Raj Yoga, once it internalizes, goes deeper and becomes Nischal. While it will become Nischal when all this fluctuating mind settles down. Even in the name of divinity, you will not go ahead. What is the name of divinity? All the same vasanas will come. Serving the world, helping the world, saving the world, all those things will start coming now. Rupantaran, okay. New vasana in a new, old wine in a new bottle. There also, in that also is hidden my own desires. In that divinity, goody things, I will play my game. So, as a spiritual seeker, you have to always be very careful on this. Even if you're catching any spiritual titles, all these things, and ask, why do you want those titles? What do you gain out of that? You'll see a lot of things are there hidden. So this is deep discrimination. You find out and you throw all this trash out. You're not interested in it. Then we are talking about self-realization. That is why Chidakasha Gita is explaining all these in detail. So once the Raj Yoga is done, stillness has come, your actual journey has begun here, Vishuddhi. Till then, you are doing the drama now. Including all those saintly ones, greatly divine, everybody. This is all down, vasanas, up and down. And this is going live on YouTube also. Anybody can watch it. So once the chitta comes here, Nithyananda says, your actual spiritual journey begins here. A real journey. Raj Yoga. So, Chidakasha Gita is completely about Raj Yoga. And from Raj Yoga, transcending to Jnana. So, Raj Yoga is where you are internalizing and you are going for your Sukshma breath. Not this breathing, Kumbhaka, Rechaka, and all these things. It's nothing got to do with that. In fact, it's just denying, don't go for it. Hatha Yoga is selfish. Hatha Yoga will take you down. Hatha Yoga will boost your ego. And you can see it around. Open your eyes and see if you have the guts. You can see how the egos are boosted. Hatha Yoga, Hat karke. The physicality, the grossness is all brought out. Like jid, to establish something. All those things come with Hatha Yoga. Body maintenance, immortality of the body. You're very interested in immortality and elongating the body. Who wants this extra life? The one who have unfulfilling desires. गटरी में बहुत पड़ा है. So I need another 100 years in the name of yogi. So I have become an immortal yogi for 100 plus years. And what do I do in that immortal body? If you have really a yogi, you will want to exit as soon as possible, my dear. Why do you need 100 years? So 100 years, if I need a body, I'm lurking around for something else in the name of divinity itself. But there are vasanas. So increasing this longevity of the body in the name of whatever, through siddhis or whatever. These are all powers that you get, which Nithyananda completely objected. He was completely against the siddhi mark. Siddha, siddhi. One who has siddhis are called siddha. And yesterday I put, or today I put a story of Gorakshnath, who's a Mahasiddha, Mahayogi. Mahayogi Gorakshnath. So there also we can see that bodiness is there. And even the feeling that this immortality I've gained through herbs, through medicines, or through yoga. And it needs one Avaduta named Allam Prabhu to come there and tell him, no, that's not the truth. Have you seen all the tattvas we talk here? It's very ruthless. It goes to even going to dissection of Ram Krishna Paramahamsa's journey. Blockages, what I'm telling you. It is not that cup of tea which we are thinking this, self-realization. Self-realization, it might look funny to you that Gorakshnath ji was given Diksha by Allam Prabhu into self-realization. This who am I? Self-inquiry. The knowledge, the Brahma Vidya was given later, after Siddhahood. And the time is right. So you can imagine the journey of self-realization, what it is, or moksha, what it is all about. There are so many pitfalls here. And we are not ready to give up these little petty pitfalls and talk about this large things. Where are we? Well, that's upon you. So he was very strong. He's a Hatha Yogi. Gorakshnath, Hatha Yogi. That's Hatha Yoga. Okay, Ashtanga Yoga. Yesterday I was in Bangalore. I met somebody in Whitefield. And she was a Hatha Yogi. She came to meet me because her brother is in UK and he follows shifting to her. So she came to know, she came in that locality. And we were talking about the same things. I believe it was a shock because till now we believe Hatha Yoga is everything. Hatha Yoga is good for the body, but self-realization is not the body. When you say I'm not the body, what it has got to do anything with the body? So Gorakshnath ji was very confident that he has a very sound body, and Allam Prabhu had to tell, however great your body is, one day it will go. Catch that which never comes, which never goes. That's your soul. It's there. So this at least should teach us and humble us down that no, we don't know yet anything. We are still learners. We got a lot to learn. So Gyan Marg opens up there. What is the Gyan Marg? Self-inquiry. After the Raj Yoga, after you have settled yourself down completely, it's the Gyan Marg. Who am I? And this is where all the dualities vanish. Advaita. Allam Prabhu is an Advaita master. He was at the time of Basavaraj Lingayat, the founder of Lingayat society. And Akamahadevi. Akamahadevi was a nude saint, just like Malaleshwari. In Karnataka, she used to roam. Allam Prabhu, and because I was madly in love with Allam Prabhu. Lord, I used to go and sit in one ashram just to listen about Allam Prabhu from a saint there. And he used to only talk about Allam Prabhu. So when this document came, which Ramana is talking about Allam Prabhu, I was astounded. I said, wow, this is something. So we are talking about the path of mystics, not even saints and siddhahood. Beyond it. I told you, saints, saintliness, divinity, all till here. Here, Aham remains. I am a saint. I am a guru. I am a shishya. I am a yogi. I am a rishi. That I-ness is there. But this, when the Gyan Agni opens, the Shiva's third eye opens, and it gives you the Gyan. No, you are not that. Then you burn that also, and you become one with that light. That is why Avadutas have no awareness that they are Avaduts. I've told this many times. This is that place where it gets burned. So even Avadutas don't know they are Avadut. You go here, Sahasrara, Shiva also doesn't know he's Shiva. It's pure consciousness, pure awareness. You look at Avadutas, pure awareness. You look at Shiva, pure awareness. They're not even aware that I am Shiva. Because if Shiva becomes aware, I am Shiva, there is a trace of ego. There is a quality. Guna aa gaya uske andar. This is Nirguna, Nirakara. This is what we are talking about self-realization, my dears. Be very practical and sensible. Don't get carried away with your damn emotions. Be very, very practical when we are talking. Study these things. Go deeper into. So that is why you will see Chidakasha Gita ruthless. And I'm so glad these documents have come. Where he's discarding Raj Hatha Yoga. He says anything below the neck is Hatha Yoga. Anything above the neck is Raju. Follow Raju. Anything below the neck, you can imagine your life. Just check out and see. Anything below the neck. What is life? Bhogi. Yogi is always above the neck. That is why he said, real initiation is here. Diksha. This is your Mooladhara. Chidakasha Gita mein, not down. That is, you are just awakening. That is called just an awakening, and you are getting, you are waking up from the Maya Jagat and slowly getting a little knowledge and understanding. And you are going up and down, learning through experiences. But when it comes and stills here, Nirmalman, when it purifies, then now it has become Nischala. Now it can quietly move inside. And this journey is inwardly. This is the real journey that is taking you in ascension. Anything below this is only keeping you in samsara. You can correlate with your life and see. Whichever paths you are, whichever tradition, whichever culture, whichever religion you are following, check it out and see. You will come to know the journey from Mooladhara, our Mooladhara, what we take as till Vishuddhi, what it has been. It has not given us mukti out of samsara. Check it out. If you want mukti out of samsara, then the journey has to deepen from here. Okay. So that is how it enters into Gyan Marg. Gyan Marg means the wisdom opens. The wisdom of the self, the knowledge of the self, which many of you are already learning. We are all learning. Arunachala is this Agni Tattva, of this Agni Tattva, which burns. So Nithyananda keeps repeatedly talking firstly about the goals. Self-realization, why are we talking today? Because Chidakasha Gita's goal, and we strongly know now, Nithyananda's coming or Ramana's coming, it is only for self-realization. They are not coming here for abundance, health, wealth, success, relation. They have just come here, taken their body, played this whole drama for the objective of self-realization, nothing less than that. These are people from here. These are people who will initiate you from here. I can tell you, vouch for it. These are the masters who can initiate you from here and take you up if you're ready. My journey only I'm telling. Because right from my awakening, the Mooladhara also, it happened from Ganeshpuri. It started from there. He is only taking me. He is only placing me wherever I have to learn. He is only putting me here, this standard, that university. He is only putting me. Because I have attached this bogie to that engine. He knows what he has to do. So there I can see how these initiations take place, how these Shakti paths take place, who's doing it, how you are initiated from here, and then how you change. You are not interested in anything below this. Then you start moving upwards. And all those kind of tattvas arrive to you, that kind of help come to you. That which does not serve your purpose will leave you. That's how the vibrations become. You don't do anything, it will automatically happen. That's life. What serves the purpose will come. What does not serve the purpose will leave. Right from spirituality, all the aspects till the grossness. Right from your friends, to your family, to your relatives, to your colleagues, to your community members, to your paths, to all the teachers, including the teachers. It's all the play of your frequency. Where your frequency, that kind of teachers you will get. Where your frequency ends, that kind of teachers will move out of it. Everything, paths will change, people will change, things will change if you have the trust of where you're going. So these are all initiations from here and above. From here and above. Okay. So if you are in the habit of no, I will take my textbooks from Muladhara to Vishuddhi and bring it here because I'm obsessed with my books. I want the same tuition teachers. I want the same school teachers to come and teach me graduation. Yeah, you will be taught, but you will have to come down to the secondary or primary school and sit with your obsession and learn whatever you can. But the whole thing is you will not be interested. You will not feel like how much ever you try, it will not happen. So he is simply reminding us of the goals. What is our goals? Chidakasha Gita 26, he says, a perfect jnani is not subject to the desires of the world. A perfect saint, perfect jnani, he is not subject to the desires of the world. World means anything in the samsara, not interested. There are no excuses. No, I'm moving in a very, I'm living in a very big house. So what? I have Raj Yoga in me. I deserve this. It's my prarabdha. So I'm living in it. Maybe they are living, but they have least interest. Like Raja Janak. They are all Avadut states. Being even in that kingdom, they have least interest in all these things. They are least interested. So a perfect jnani is not subject to the desires of the world. He is completely away from the desires. Completely away from the desires. Should I repeat it again and again? He's not saying he is away from desires. He's saying completely away from desires. Just why? Why is that so? He's telling. Just like a fried seed which does not sprout, even when it is sown in the earth and well watered, desires never arise in a jnani and toss his minds to the winds. The reason is the desires have been burnt like fried seeds. If you fry the seed, then you put it in water, you put it in fertilizers, you put it in the best of manure, you give it the best kind of treatment, all the climatic condition, it will never sprout. Why? Because it has been burnt. The seed is burnt. So here is telling there is no question of a jnani even being interested a little because all the seeds have been burnt. Simple. So desires never arise in a jnani and never toss his mind to the winds. Winds means all this only. One desire this, one desire that. So it can come as a divine desire and take you in the wind. And I say it's a divine. How many times we do that? Divine desire. We justify it and slowly we don't know when we have fallen also. Man without desires is no man, similar to a lamp without oil. It's no lamp. So you can see a human never finds himself like a human until there are desires. I say, no desire. What is the purpose of my life? Nothing. So it's just like this, similar to the lamp which has no oil. The, the lamp cannot burn. It needs oil to burn. That way, we all of us, we feel some or the other desires should be there. Then only we can burn. Before the light of the sun, the light of the gaslight fades into nothingness. So all this pettiness will just fade out in that sunshine. It's like our little lamps which we have lit and kept. Imagine this room is so well lit and I keep the lamp here and the sun is shining through this. Kya कीमत है ये lamp की? What is the use of this lamp? It's no use. So before the light of the sun, the light of gaslight fades into nothingness. So that light should be powerful enough. If that light is powerful, all the desires will fade out. The more you increase that light, my little astitva, which is there, all this will start fading out into nothingness. The light of the sun is the all in all. Buddhi must command the mind, must obey the Buddhi's command. Just as a tree fruits is of no avail, so also man without knowledge of this eternal truth is of no use. So he's telling Buddhi should be above the mind. That is what we specifically are working on and shifting into awareness. Buddhi. The whole instrument that we are working day and night through all the practice is the Buddhi, intellect. Sharpening and sharpening and sharpening. And that is the theme of Chidakasha Gita. Spotify. Illuminate the Buddhi. Why? Because if the Buddhi is illuminated, yes. Yeah, I'm going to session, sir. I'll meet you later. Thank you. So the Buddhi, if it is illuminated, what happens is it stands above the mind. If the Buddhi is not illuminated, your mind, man jaisa kare, you just follow your mind. All your attachment, all this moha, all these patterns, all this conditioning is in your mind. So if the Buddhi is not there to tell you the light, telling that no, this is coming from your patterns, your old conditioning. If the Buddhi doesn't tell you this, you will catch the mind and you'll be engrossed. That is because of the dull intellect. Intellect is not sharpened to see the things. That is why here it says Buddhi should be above the mind and mind must obey the Buddhi's command. So just like a tree without fruits is of no avail, so also a man without this knowledge of eternal truth of no use. So a tree without fruits is useless. It is simply standing there. But see, if it is giving fruits, so important. So he's comparing the fruits to our realization, this eternal truth. Until you are knowing and aware of this eternal truth, what we are talking here, he says your life is of no use. So also man without knowledge of eternal truth is no use. Realization of this truth is seeing light in darkness. What is darkness? Is ignorance. Light is wisdom. So Gyan Marga will only enlighten your wisdom. It will give you so much of wisdom, it will give you clarity. It will flood all your darkness with the light. We originated from God, and it is our bounden duty to return to Him in this very life. So he starts with this goal, reminding us that the main goal of our human life is not all those maintenance zones. It is simply to return back to Him or Him in this very life. Means I merge back into my source from where I came in this very life. Okay, so Chidakasha Gita is ruthless because in this very life it is. But it is straight. Now I was telling, all kind of people came to Nithyananda. None came to him for self-realization. At least in records, it is not there anybody who's asking self-realization. It's in record I have not read, even his disciples. So people who came maximum, even the devotees came for all their worldly needs. That is why he had this grudge in the end. Not grudge, he had this feeling that what he had to offer, he couldn't offer because all the people came for house, wealth, name, property, fame, wife, children, all these things only they gave. But if you observe very keenly, did he shoo him away? Did Nithyananda said, get out? Because in Chidakasha Gita is talking that. But in real life, he was busy giving people the worldly. Are you seeing this? That's what I'm trying to say. As the demand, so the supply. The demand is that you have to supply that. In today's world, we say there is no many gurus who can give that. There are no shishyas also. That is what we are talking sometime back. Like all the paths, if you see, it's all simply maintenance of your world. What else is there? Check out even for 5 minutes and see what's happening in the whole communities. Is anybody hankering after God or self-realization? Hardly anybody. All are just in the maintenance mode. And what if that is the demand? What will be the supply? That kind of paths will come up. That kind of supply will come up. That is why people who find themselves disappointed cannot find. Hardly there is anyone who will take you into that single-handed zone, self-realization. All these people are gone. Nithyananda is gone. Ramana is gone. And the avaduts who are there, they don't talk. It's a dilemma. Nobody around. But does that mean we are left to doom? No way. Nobody around means they're not in the body, that's all. But they're there. And that is how we are being guided. I'm sitting here right now in Kanjangada, Baba's place, this is. He has done wonders here. We are in the caves. Work is going on very beautifully, but demand and supply. Does that mean Ganeshpuri and Kanjangad only self-realization people go? No way. Still people go for maintenance. And that also is granted. But who asks what they get? He who seeks shall receive. That is the thing. So, Nityananda, I'm very sure he knew that there will be seekers who want what he had to offer. That is why this came up. Chidakasha Gita. And whom did he give? He did not put up a stage and give pravachan. He gave it to Tulsi Amma here in Mangalore. And she recorded it and preserved it in the book format because that is the long side of Nityananda. He knows it will reach the right kind of people when and how it has to reach. Anugrah Shakti. Nityananda is gone. His words are anchoring around here. His blessing, his grace is flowing through these words. So teachers don't go. They are there. Very much there. So we were talking about Yoga Vashishta. I was telling what an excellent scripture. My God. And I was telling Ram is so lucky to have got that kind of master who simply sharp, axed, giving him that. So somebody said, आजकल कहाँ मिलते हैं राम? Where do you get nowadays Ram? I said, आजकल वशिष्ठ भी कहाँ मिलते हैं? Where do you get Vashisht also today? So it is not about one-sided that everything you blame it here. That side also. So Prakriti creates this according to the demand and supply. So in 129, Bhagawan Nithyananda says, again, now that is what I have done with Chidakasha Gita. Multiple sessions I've been doing here. So every time I make these notes, I have seen a strange string flowing through this. Last time I had done one live, I don't know, it's live, it's still there. From Kanyan, I had done almost 1 year back, I think last October. There we had matched a string like a ornament, like a bead. You can see strange connections, not in sequence, but something like 16, then 29, then 46, then 58. If you catch that string, you will get one particular message very deep. So that kind of multiple strings had come out. It's there in that video. And this string, what I'm telling, this is a Sara. See, what we talked about in 26, the goal of life. 26, we have jumped to 129. And see, in 129, he says, Mukti is the goal of life. A man who is ignorant of the true goal of life is no better than a beast. He or she is not less than a beast or an animal. Who is ignorant means one who is not even aware of the true purpose of life. So I'm living even as a spiritual being, but I don't know my purpose. I don't know my goal of life. He says that is equivalent to animal. Now you don't have to tell me I'm level 6. So somebody wrote to me that I want to join. And I see that person is not ripe enough to catch it because he's getting again and again triggered. So I said, no problem. Then the second, the third message came like, I am so and so level 3. I said, please continue with your level 3. These kind of copy or medals won't work here. Okay. Your whole eligibility is mumukshattu. You get that word? Mumukshatva is intense desire for liberation or self-realization. That is mumukshatva. So a mumukshatva is 100% aware all the time of the goal of life. Can you say that a mumuksha is not aware? Impossible. So mumuksha is one who is always aware. That is what he's telling. A man who is ignorant of the true purpose of life is no better than a beast. How many other medals and yantras you want to put around your neck, still that doesn't qualify you. Because many are living that myth. That is what I want to break that. This goal of life is, now see, he says, this goal of life. What is the goal of life? Perfect desirelessness. Atam? When he says goal of life is mukti, next sentence he says, the goal of life is perfect desirelessness. Means if you want mukti, you have to come to a state of perfect desirelessness. He's not even telling desirelessness. Perfect desirelessness. Not even one subtle movement. I want this. So now if you are busy moving, fulfilling our desires, bhoga, and then giving it a justification, here it will not work. These are the sutras of self-realization which I am telling, coming from Nithyananda. He who is ignorant of this fact is not a man, means not a human. There cannot be a human who is ignorant of this. Mukti cannot be attained without desirelessness. Okay, you can underline this. Mukti cannot be attained without desirelessness. The desires has to exhaust itself. So, what do I do with my desires? Exhaust it as soon as possible in awareness. Give it completions. You can see all our programs are only giving completion. We are not telling discard all the desires. You can't discard. You won't be able to discard it. You can't say, I'll stop it right now. I'll throw away all my desires. You won't be able to do it. But what you can do, you can work to give it proper completion, not by giving justification. What is justification? Oh, there is responsibility. Oh, there is desires. Oh, there is work to do. So much of things to do. Let me complete it. So there you are giving yourself only opportunity to go more into that. So here you become aware. No, my goal of life. All the time I'm aware. This is my goal of life. So to reach that goal of life, I must complete these things one by one as soon as possible and release it. Then only I empty all this basket of desires. Man who is the crown and culmination of God's creation must not be like a frog which sinks below water and rises above water repeatedly. So he's telling man, this is the culmination, the crown of culmination. He is supposed to be the highest. He is godly. His stature is above all the other beasts. So such a person, that is you and me. Okay, the humans should not be like the frog that keeps coming out of that water and going down. So we are like that. One session we come out of the water, Maya. After the session we sink back inside. One retreat or one program we come out. Or some satsangs we come out, then we go back. One avduta or saint we see, we come up and we go down again. One trip to Tiruvannamalai or Kailasha, we come out again and then we go. Like the frog. So he says, you should not be like this frog that comes and goes. So this is the same example that I say. Who are the frogs? Frogs are the people who are in the well with their limited beliefs. And they believe this is our life and this is complete. No. First you have to get out of that well itself. Like a frog in the well, man must not be immersed in the water of materialism, rising above this water rarely at regular intervals and again plunging into it. So, not like the frog in the well, again being immersed in the waters of materialism. This supreme human life cannot at any time be compared to that of a frog. He's telling you are far, far superior than a frog. Your life cannot be compared to a frog. This human life cannot always be attained. You are not going to get this life again and again. There is no chance, there is no guarantee you're going to get this life again. Don't lose this opportunity by being a frog in the well. When we have acquired it, it is our bounden duty to realize the goal of life, which is the realization of the Supreme Self. So he says, when you have got in life, it is the bounden duty to realize the goal of life. What is the goal of life? Which is realization of the Supreme Self. That is what we are talking today. Self-realization. So self-realization only what we are talking. But he is giving us sutras. By doing what you will get self-realized. That's what we are highlighting. Just like meals cannot be had before cooking, so also mukti cannot be attained without necessary effort in that direction. So all these fake things that tell us that we will get mukti by doing this, we cannot attain. Very difficult. Just like meals cannot be had before cooking. You have to cook and then only you can eat. Cook means work towards it consciously. Have the wisdom, have the right knowledge, right attitude, right direction. Then only you can cook your meals and then you can eat it. First, you should at least know these things. Mukti cannot be attained without necessary efforts in that direction. Discrimination is compared to fire, intelligence, or buddhi to the vessel. So, cooking means the vessel, the handi which is there, that vessel he is comparing to buddhi, intellect, and the fire he is comparing to discrimination. Power of discrimination. What is discrimination? The power to know what is right, what is wrong, what is real, what is unreal. So, whatever satsangs I do, I use only buddhi, the power of discrimination, and that buddhi dissects and sees all the flaws. It catches ruthlessly every damn thing that this mind will try to hide and camouflage. So, if the buddhi is standing out ruthlessly, it will cut out. So, that is it. So, the fire is that discrimination, the power to discriminate between right and wrong, but it has to be heated in the vessel of buddhi. So, buddhi is that tattva which will give you awareness, the power of discrimination, right choice. Fire and vessel are two requisites which are necessary before we cook. So he says these both are needed. The buddhi is needed, power of discrimination is needed to cook your food. Means cook your self-realization. So also to attain mukti, discrimination and intelligence are the two important requisites. Mukti is the cooked food. So what is the output? The cooked food is nothing but mukti. That is the result. And you can eat that food that you cook out of the power of discrimination and your intellect. So these are two different things that he said. You can see the gap, but there's a connecting string. That is, I've observed multiple subjects. This is self-realization. This way, there are multiple subjects which can give you that string. Even in 76 again, he talks, it is not enough if we are aware of the existence of God. It is not enough. Oh, I know God is there. I know everything is there. I know the Parabhakti is there. I know consciousness is there. Supreme consciousness is there. I know Nirguna Nirakara is there. I know. But here is telling it is not enough if we are aware of the existence of God. We must realize Him and His bliss. We must attain that. Knowing is not enough. Go and realize it and attain that bliss. That is the product of merging with that. Even a child of 5 years knows that there is God. It only does not know where God is and what it means to attain Him. So even a small child of 5 years old also know there is God. You ask him, he'll tell, God is there up there. But only thing, he does not know where God is and how to approach it and how to attain it. That's only different. But even children know. So he's telling it's not a big deal. Knowing that Param Tattva is there, knowing that God is there. Even a child knows that. So he says, God is in the heart space of man and he can be realized by selfless bhakti. This word we discussed in the start, with complete surrender and faith. So yesterday, whoever did the session, yesterday or day of yesterday, we did only two tattva. You remember, surrender, faith. We were talking about Saburi Vishwas. Okay, the faith. I was telling, it is your faith that heals, not the person. Jesus said that it is your faith that heals. Tell no one. Said the secret of healing. That is why Ramana says, grace does the work and saints get the credit. So you might think, what is my problem if saints are getting the credit? I have no problem. I just want to dissect this and tell you that don't always put it on, oh, my gratitude, I'm obliged. It is coming from that insecurity. That you feel everything somebody has done for me. I am a hopeless. If you are hopeless, nobody can come and touch you. Your punyas, your past work, you have done a lot of work on it. You have earned that merit. So you are also a partnership in your own healing. You are also responsible for where you stand. Don't treat yourself like crap. Then you will be a slave. Because that is what we did in inner child. These are all wounded inner child problems. This is all that's worthlessness, worthiness, helplessness. I'm not worthy enough. So if you're not worthy enough, you'll always find somebody to make you feel worthy. You'll justify it. Oh, I feel worthy with this person. Why? Because somebody is giving you the signature. You are worthy because of me. And then you'll say, I am worthy because of him. That person made me. God made me. Like somebody said today. Baba called. I said, Baba ko bahut sara kaam hai. Baba will say, not sit here and call. Who is going to come today to Kanyanad? Okay, this one. This one is worthy enough. This one, no. Is sinner. Baad mein dekhenge next year. And don't put all these things into their court. You earn it simply, you are here. Accept it. Itna to prem karo apne aap se. At least love yourself so much. Maybe your people have never loved you. Maybe that thing you have never received from anywhere. That love, and somebody is giving you that assurance that you are worthy enough. So you always put it on Baba, or you put it on God, or you put it on somebody. They are there, but they will pick up only when you have worked. Can they pick up lazy people? Can you say, let grace work, let Baba work in my life, and I'll not do it, and I'll do all the dushkarma, I'll do all the nonsense. Do you think they'll work? Then where is that power of Baba? Use common sense. It simply works your own eligibility. You are eligible because you made yourself eligible. So in that, nothing you are going to lose. When you say, I am here because I worked hard for it. Because I know all these communities, they will tell you, you are suffering because of your karmas. You did something wrong, you are suffering. Take responsibility now. Take full responsibility. You are 100% responsible for all these things. Take responsibility and work. I am saying, if I am responsible for my papa, am I not responsible for my punya also? So if I've landed in situation which is wrong situation because of my bad karma, so can I not land in good situation because of my punya karma? Why can't I take responsibility for that? Nah, there we'll put past the bucks. That is your worthlessness. Feel that. It's coming from there. So he says this can come with complete surrender faith. Through selfless bhakti. When you have selfless bhakti, not for me, not for anybody, unconditional bhakti, devotion, love for Nithyananda. Why do I come here? Because I love Nithyananda. He calls me. Nothing. No conditions apply. I am here because I am here. Pratap. People are asking you, what happened? Why you are here suddenly? I don't know. I felt like coming. I came here. Why glorify it? Baba called me, or I have some work to do here. God knows whatever it is. So that's very unconditional. Whatever, there is no reason. You don't have to put a reason for everything. Conditions for everything. So he says, God is in the heart space of man. This Chidakasha is what he's calling as heart space. This is called as heart, the center. And he can be realized. He, Chidakasha, Nirguna Nirakara, the heart space, the Akasha, the hollowness, the nothingness. You can realize it only through selfless bhakti. You are there without any conditions, without any word, without any ornamental words. You are simply there. Through thorough surrender. He says, with complete surrender and faith. That is why he says, have faith. So if Nityananda tells you it's in that heart space, have faith. If Sai Baba tells you that, have faith. Why is Sai Baba putting that one clause? Saburi Vishwas. Because if you take that, even Sai Baba is helpless. Are you getting it? That's what Jesus is trying to tell. If you remove the faith from here, even I can't heal you. So he says, your faith healed you, not me. So who takes the credit there? Can we say he healed himself? Yes. Jesus will say you healed yourself, not me. That's what Ramana is telling. Nobody is taking the credit here. The sun sees all, but very few, one in a lakh or two sees the sun. That's why we are saying, oh, we are, but world is not, forget the world. Are we going to wait till the world gets enlightened and then we do something? No, it will never happen that way. That also you'll see. Nityananda is explaining why it will not happen altogether. It cannot happen. Everybody gets enlightened. When your time comes, you work on it simply. That's how it is. So he says, sun is looking at everybody, but only one or two can look at the sun. How many people can look at the sun? But there are people who do Tratakan. Very few can see that sun. So everybody knows the sun is there, but they can't look at it. Few can look at it. So Nityananda is challenging, become that few who realizes God. Don't simply keep knowing there is God. Similarly, God is always in a pure conscious state, but the ordinary man is not able to realize due to his ignorance and involvement in sexual pleasures and worldly evil deeds. So he says, anything other than the self which we are indulging in, that is kama. Kama means desire. Kama is lust also. You can see. So due to the indulgence in the worldly, and he says not worldly deeds, he says worldly evil deeds. Ordinary man, he says. Ordinary man is not able to understand. What is not able to understand? That God is pure conscious state. Ordinary man is not understanding because all the time they are in Vishaya Vasanas. One must purify internally continuously, he says. And Abhitar says after. One way he says is through bhakti to realize God and attain motion. So he says bhakti is very beautiful. But do that bhakti without any motives. Selfless, unconditional bhakti. It can be even to Nityananda. Have selfless bhakti. Don't say, I love you because you're going to give me bhakti. It's like I love for the sake of loving. Who cares whether you give it or not? Then you are not conditioned to that tattva. You're not saying, what will happen when you're conditioned? When you say, you give me happiness, Nityananda, when I come to you, you give me happiness. So next day or next few days or next few weeks or months, you don't get happiness, you forget Nityananda. Doesn't that happen with your bhakti? Check it out. With your Guru Ishta, don't you doubt? Nothing is happening. That is because of this selfish bhakti. You are put on something there. So unconditional means selfless bhakti. Have the faith. Only when faith is there, selfless bhakti can come. See these words, that is why they are used. If you have Purna Samarpan, faith, you will have Purna Samarpan, surrender. And if you have surrender, You will definitely have unconditional love towards it. You don't care. Who cares? You give me or don't care. Give me. But I know wherever you're leading me, you're leading me there only. Maybe I can't see it now. I'll have to go through a lot of things. My prarabdha might come up. Something might come up. And maybe at that time he pulls back for you to finish that prarabdha. Wait for it. Now you cannot say, where have we gone? I broke 4 coconuts and they were so costly. 24 rupees they cost me. In back home, I get at 18 rupees. They charged me 6 rupees extra and I broke 4 coconuts. And I go back home and I'm getting this disappointment problem in life. Who knows? He made you bake that coconut. He balatale. Who knows? Some bigger thing was supposed to come and that has been reduced through grace. Who knows? When we complain, we will never know. One pinch, one hurt, one wound, we will cry. Who knows? We might have lost one hand in that. But Kripa, grace protected us. Your 4 coconuts, 6 rupees extra into 4, 24 rupees extra, saved your arm. Who knows? So if you are simply unconditional and you say, Teri Raza mein mere, whatever you say, because my bhogi is attached to you. Wherever you take, it's going. Because I'm going through a flood of punya and papa. Prarabdha is running. So we have to be practical also. Sometimes when there are pauses in life, sometimes when there are detours, there are lessons. They're all lessons. There is some meaning in that. Nothing is delayed without reason. So he says one must internally purify continuously through this bhakti to realize God and attain moksha. See, these are the sutras to attain moksha. Then 202 he says, again with the goal of life. He says, beggar is he who has not realized the eternal truth. Again. So you can see the intensity with what Nityananda is telling, the sutras of self-realization. We cannot take this for granted. We cannot overlook this. If it has to be overlooked, why is he so stern again and again? And through Chidakasha Gita, this he has not told to people. Okay, this is telling. He is talking through Chidakasha Gita to the right people when they are in the right frame of mind at the right time. He's revealing this. So there is probably giving a good punch as to beggar is he who has not realized the ultimate eternal truth. So he is a beggar. Why is he calling beggar? Because if you don't realize the ultimate truth, you will remain a beggar because you will beg for everything in this world. Money, support, love, care, attention, whatever you name it, it's all begging. You might not say Bhikshan Dehi, but in some other way you will ask for. Some way you will be given that. Your look also is enough, a beggarly look. You're looking at your Priyatama, supposed to separate from you. Tears in your eyes. Isn't that begging? Stay. Please stay. Isn't that begging? Look at any aspect in your life. You're looking at your parents with a hope. You're looking at your spouse with a hope. You're looking at your children with a hope. Everywhere is a hope. You please score in your exams. I beg of you. I beg of you for my security. Please stand on your own leg. Everywhere. That is why he's telling beggar is he who has not realized the ultimate truth. You realize this, then there is no begging. One who has not destroyed the worldly thoughts is a beggar. Any kind of worldly thoughts be it. Now, this is a little harsh, but that is what? Sutras of Self-Realization. So, if you have worldly thoughts, forget self-realization. Keep it up on a mango tree or a coconut tree. You can collect it later after you finish all the worldly duties. So, you have to understand the practicality of this. Don't move in myth and superstition. So I'll do some bhakti and bhajan and things like that. I'm moving towards no way. You are surely moving towards punarbi janmam, punarbi maranam. वो तो doubt ही नहीं है. Because everywhere you are moha, you are attachment, you are entangling new karmas. No end to it. So there is no question of mukti there. There are only two paths. One can look downwards towards the worldly aspect of life and be involved in it, and the other is to look upwards and merge with God. One who looks downwards is a beggar. So he says there are only two paths. बोलते हैं ना हमारा ये पाथ है तुम्हारा वो पाथ है. Okay, whatever your path. Now, whatever you are identifying with your path, I am this yogi, I am that yogi, I am this path, I am that path. Great. Now, all these paths are diversified into these two paths with Nithyananda is telling. One moving upward and one moving down. Sangar Chakra and Shrishti Chakra. Shrishti Chakra moves downwards. Sangar Chakra moves upwards. Shrishti means I want to create. Vishayavasana. Sangar means I'm done with it. I'm destroying whatever I created. Moving upwards. So, very crystal clear. What Nithyananda is telling. There are only two paths. So now all the paths will get categorized under these two paths. Now you find out which path and what path you are doing. What is the path? One. There are two paths. One can look downwards towards all the worldly aspects of life and be involved in it. Find out. Is that the path that you are doing? And the other path is to look upwards and merge with God. So all the other paths are subcategories of these two paths. So you investigate. I will not tell anything. You investigate. You can find it. And then he says the one moving downwards is a beggar. So all the paths moving downward is making you beg. Is not making you liberate. It's making you beg down. Go deeper down. Go get involved in the world. That is why all these people are in a fix. They are hoping moksha and we are going downward and they're telling, why am I going down or why am I not going upwards? My dear, look at it. Which direction are you looking? Are you working on the Sangar Chakra or the Srishti Chakra? Simple. Sri Vidya. All the level 3 guys who keep challenging me. इतना तो समझ आना चाहिए. Basics. Sangar Chakra क्या है और Srishti Chakra क्या है? पता ही होगा. You know very much. So you find out. How many desires are you trying to manifest in your books? You have filled up for the past 2-3 years. Books have become heavy, writing down your desires. You're moving downward, worldly path. That is what he's calling beggar. Srishti Chakra. How many are moving upwards? Breaking all that which you have created. Sanghar. Destroying and moving upwards. That is this path. That path takes you to self-realization. So for that, he's telling now, if this is the goals, these are the goals what we are hearing. For those girls, 4-5 goals, no, 1 goals, but 4-5 teachings. Now he's talking all about simply rise above duality. Down means duality. Upward means non-duality. Upward is Advaita, oneness. Downward is Dvaita, diversity. Now check out and figure out what have you been doing. Is your so-called paths moving towards oneness and claiming oneness and trying to teach you oneness and preaching oneness and removing all the diversities? Or is it still stuck in me and mine? I and mine, we and ours, trending ourselves into this and that. We are separate, we are special, they don't know. We are Hindus, they are Muslims. So that's duality. More you separate, that's duality. More you integrate everything, that's oneness. That's the tattva here. Upward you move on duality, Advaita. Downward you move Dvaita or duality. So now 54 starts talking about the duality. These are again the strings that I'm telling you. Jnani is the one who has given up worldly pleasures by pact practicing yoga and realize God. Now, to correct you, yoga means the internal activation and the internal awakening of your prana or kundalini or shakti and internal uniting it with Nishalta. Your Chanchal Tattva, when you mix it or merge it into the Nishal Tattva, that is what is called yoga, not Hatha Yoga. So when you say, oh, he's telling by practicing yoga means we have to do this kind of asana, that kind of no. Yoga simply means the process of merging it into Advaita. It's very funny when I see sometimes we call it uniting and then we label it. The moment you label it, you have come down. I said, I will merge it into a certain supreme consciousness. And then I'll put a name to it. Let's say Jake consciousness. Okay, how can it be, how can it be Advaita? The moment you put a label, it has come into many other labels. Where competition true. So Jnani is the one who has given up worldly pleasure, Sangar Chakra, and is practicing yoga and realized God. That is the one who has realized God. Bliss can be experienced when one is in a deep state of God consciousness. The Satchidananda can be explained, expressed, or experienced when one is in that unition. A Mahatma is he who has experienced this divine bliss. That is a Mahatma. Now, Mahatma doesn't mean he's talking about saints. He's talking about our possibility of becoming a Mahatma. Yours and mine chance, opportunity of becoming a Mahatma, because we are all destined to become Mahatmas. So a Mahatma is he who has gone and realized this oneness and is experiencing the divine bliss, the outcome. Sat and Chit meets, what happens? Ananda. Satchit, Ananda. We cannot become Mahatmas by seeing images of earth and stone at various places of pilgrimage. So if you want to become Mahatma, duality has to end. The Bhakti, now is again coming to that. You cannot become that by seeing consistently images of clay and stone. And it includes even Nithyananda's murtis, wherever you. First of all, he never asked anybody to make his murti and do its puja. His whole message was to reach to the state of Nityananda. That is what you're telling. This bliss of Mahatma, that is called Nityananda. That Ananda, when you merge, we go and merge. And sometimes we have this wow, blissful feeling. But we come out of it. That is Satchidananda. Glimpse. When you can sustain the Satchidananda, it is called Nitya Ananda. Nitya is eternal. That is Nityananda. So that is why I titled it as Nitya, the eternal. Forever. That state is forever. So you cannot become that. You cannot become divine. You cannot become saintly. You cannot become a Mahatma. You cannot become the child of God by continuing to see all these images. Now, Devi Kalatra hoke kitna saal ho gaya? How many saal? And how many of us have been able to give up all the clay images and idols and posters and photos in your wallets and here and there? That means we are faking. We are not serious. We are only gathering knowledge. We are not working on it. And until you work, it won't come. What is the work? Study. It's not going to come by continuing to see images of earth and stone at various places of pilgrimage. You go to Tiruvannamalai, you're hunting around how many Shivalingas are there and going and doing pranams. And you're very interested in all that. People who are rising, you'll see they'll start losing interest. Nobody's telling them, don't go. Every retreat we have option. Some go, some don't go. Who doesn't go? Those who are realizing this, those who are really walking the path, they will not feel the need to go. Those who are not walking the path, they will want to go. They're still stuck there. Dvaita Bhakti. And all those people who go to visit those Shivalingas, those temples, become aware. Just become conscious. Weren't you a beggar there? Become aware and see. You must remember all those incidents where you went to this Shivalinga, that Shivalinga, this temple, that temple. Weren't you begging there? Give me this, give me that. Okay, na shuru. So can we say that as bhakti? No, that is selfish bhakti. Here it's telling when you give up this duality, God in there and there, this way the bhakti will go. We experimented in the start, right? When I become that, I don't feel like asking anything from myself. I feel complete whenever I experience it. So he says, a Mahatma is he who knows his true nature by realizing him. So the one Mahatma is the one who knows his true nature not by jnana but by experience, realizing, reaching that goal. And then he moves to 57. We move to 57. A man is in this world so long as he feels himself distinct from Paramatman. So now we are telling, no, we're talking, no, Vishwasana, where so many things in this world, it's there and all that. I'm stuck in this world. Why? Why are we stuck in this world? He's telling a man is in this world as long as he feels himself separate, distinct from Paramatma. Shiva Sutras. Arnomal. Why am I moving downwards? My interest downwards. Because ego, aham has come, aham separated from Supreme. Because of that separation, now I am having the desire to go outside. You finish the separation, you will not have any desire to move down. So he's giving another sutra. You are running downward because you are disconnected from Paramatman. And what are we learning here? Living in divine presence, yoga spur karmani means being all the time connected with Paramatma. So if you're connected all the time, you cannot run into the world. So if you are finding yourself running into the world, you just investigate and see whenever you're running into the world, you're disconnected. Check it out. These are all sutras to help us find out why this is happening. Instead of just saying, no, I have tendencies, I have karma, I'm running. They can find out why it is. Am I connected or disconnected? No, I'm disconnected. So what is the remedy? Stay in connection all the time. Your Vishaya Vasanas will start dying out. Simple. You don't have to kill your Vishaya Vasanas. You simply have to unite more and like we were saying, no, that relaxation. What we are even one moment, if you give that relaxation, that is disconnection. देखो आप जब भी relax करते हो उस time पे you are disconnected at that. Oh, this is my karma. What to do? Prarabdha. You're disconnected. It's not a divine thought at all. You're disconnected. So you keep yourself connected. You will not get that kind of thoughts. So that's what I'm trying to tell. The whole sutra is in simply trying to learn awareness and live in awareness. Live in your divine presence. All problems will be sorted out, including all your diseases and this and that. What we are talking about. Yesterday, I read that para, yesterday or day before yesterday. But Ramana is speaking about it. Right? What is he speaking? Somebody is telling illness. Oh, I'm doing this spiritual practice, I'm getting illness. Yes, you will get illness. So is God taking my test? Many people say. And Ramana clarified there is no God taking your test. Simple practical reason is you have been in Boga for all your lifetimes, multiple lifetimes. Now, suddenly through this yoga means this inward activity, you are suddenly straining your panchindriyas and your nadis. Energy is flowing all the time. Now, through this, whatever practice you are doing, it is being seized. When it ceases, it puts a strain on your nadis and your panchindriyas. And that can be taxing and that can turn into illnesses. Symptoms, this pain, that pain, this is happening, that is happening. All those things will start happening. So he says that is simply because you are doing this practice. That's simply because when you're doing the practice, you are withholding those nadis and senses for some time, suspension. Now imagine if you're living in awareness all the time, what is it? You're suspending it. In awareness, you cannot have your panchindriyas working. Panchindriya simply ceases. All those who practice can see that. Mind and panchindriya is coming from the mind. Mind bandh, panchindriya is closed down. So what Ramana said was, instead of sitting and trying to heal all this pain, your chest pain, your neck pain, your this pain, your that pain, he says, much more and more into godly consciousness. That will simply heal it. Okay. The same thing what he said that, and then he says, all these pains and tests and disease and illness which is coming in your practice and becoming your obstacles. He's telling all these would go if you would but continue your meditation, bestowing your thought solely on understanding yourself or self-realization. All this will die out if you simply put all your focus on uniting with the self or realizing the self. There is no greater remedy than this continuous yoga or union with God or Atman. There cannot be but pain as a resulting of your discarding your long acquired vasanas. So that pain comes from your sudden urge or intensity to discard those vasanas. When you turn godly, all these things will put a strain on your mind and body. So what do I do? Do I run behind that? No, he says continue. Continue with bestowing your continuous thought and meditativeness on realizing the self. There is no greater remedy than this continuous yoga or union with God. Now, continuous yoga is Kuru Karmani. Yoga is Kuru Karmani. That is what living in the divine presence. Continuous yoga, you are always in the divine presence. That's enough. But we have not practiced it enough so that it becomes a living presence. We do it sometime, and by the time obstacle comes, we go chasing the obstacle to finish it. So then he asked again, devotee asked, Hatha Yoga practice are said to banish all the disease effectively, and therefore it has been advocated as necessary preliminaries to Jnana Yoga. He says, but everybody in the Hatha Yoga says that, all this is needed. Hatha Yoga, all that. Yama, Niyam, Pranayam, this Kriya, that Kriya, all those things. Hatha Yoga practice are needed to remove all the illnesses. And therefore it is considered as a prerequisite to Jnana Yoga. And Bhagavan says, let those who advocate them use them. Let those who are teaching use it. It has not been the experience here. He says all diseases would be effectively annihilated by continuous self-inquiry. What about pranayama? Somebody asked. He says, I speak about it, but I'm not keenly talking about Puraka, Rechaka, Kumbhaka, and all those things. And we all know that mind and prana is linked. So control of mind and control of breath, all these are linked. But he says this is like forcibly milking of a cow. Hatha Yoga. Jabardasti. See, Ramana is telling. Here Nithyananda is telling na Hatha Yoga. Here Ramana is telling this. Hat karke. It is like forcing a cow to give milk by force. It will give you a kick. And the other option he says, Raju, the normal one, is like cajoling the cow by feeding it grass and caressing it by gently patting his back. So you hold a cow, give it grass to eat, give it fodder, give it water, and slowly pat its back, make it feel comfortable, and then milk the cow. It will cooperate with you. Beautiful examples. And then he's talking about Prabhulinga in this book. about Allam Prabhu and Gorakshna. So from that, I was motivated to go and search it from the internet and put that. Today, would I put a post from this only? So again, it came from Hatha Yoga. Here also is not advocating Hatha Yoga. അപ്പൊ എന്റെ കാര്യം മനസ്സിലായി. പെയിൻ നമ്മുടെ എല്ലാ പെയിൻ എവിടെയും പോകേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. So he says a man is as long in this world as long as he feels he is disconnected or he is disconnected from Paramatma. As soon as he realizes oneness with Paramatma, he has attained the next world. So here he's talking continuously about two worlds. This world, that world. This world and the next world. So there are no two worlds. It is just the state of consciousness. One is Vishayavasana, the other is Sadvasana. One is worldliness and grossness, the other is divineness. One is duality, Dvaita, the other is Advaita, non-duality, oneness. One is diversity, one is oneness. So as soon as you realize your oneness with Paramatma, you have attained the next world. That's all. There's no much complication as to know. That's what we are talking here again. There's not like, you want to go towards self-realization. Oh, I have to work very hard. No, I'm sorry. You have to give up all that working hard. The doer has to die. You'll simply find the more deeper and higher you go, simply you have to drop the doing and the doer has to die. Your practices start dropping. Have you seen so many times the practice is simply dropping? So many of your practices now, because see this hint, now because you have interest, deep interest in Gyan Yoga. When did it come? Did it come before dropping the practice? No. Check it out. First, your practices are dying out. You're losing interest in that. And then something is replacing a new interest. That is this. So two worlds, this world and that world. The body is like a cave for the Atman to dwell. This we did this practice in one of these sessions, I think inner child or what, I don't know. इसमें क्या था? नहीं, परसों ही किया था. Oh, Arunachala Tattva. We did it in Arunachala Tattva. We done it. Very powerful session that. Temple. परसों यानी वो जब भी. Last Arunachala Tattva, whoever did it, you saw how powerful it is. The healing and spontaneous releases that happens. Purification. Any of you said you want to do it as purification because you found one stroke so much purified. Yes. My mother wrote to me, she did it. And by the time I had to travel, the night message I got, thank you, son. Something heavy went out of me. I'm feeling so light. I slept like a log. Somebody started writing early morning. I couldn't wake up. It was so deep sleep. And some said, I am feeling light immediately when I did that. Some heaviness has gone. What is that heaviness? And what is that practice? That practice is Nirmal Man. So, this is that. 62. The body is like a cave for the Atman to dwell. This is the Guha. The cave. In this dwells the Atman. This is what we said. This is my temple. So I will treat my temple well. I will respect my temple well. I will nourish my temple well. I will take care of the temple well. I'll purify the temple well. I'll keep it clean. I'll not put unwanted things into it. Jaisa Anna, Vaisa Man. Atma dwelling in the body must attain moksha or liberation from bondage. So this is my temple and in this I live. I attaining moksha means I am getting free out of this temple. This temple is a bondage. I'm struggling in this home. See what happens when you want to unite with the Lord. You feel like you want to just move. So yesterday I met Dhanashri in Whitefield, Bangalore, and she had come and she was telling, she had just come from Mahakal. And she told of one experience when she's looking at the Mahakala, that puja is going on and the bhasma is putting there. Whole being radiated like, she doesn't want anything else but to be one with that. And the expression, what I just want this whole thing dissolve and become the bhasma on you. Powerful experiences. Those are all purifying experiences. And that is what we did in the last meditation, Arunachala Tattva. It bhasmifies all your astitva. The ego is simply bursted. It can be simply dissolved. And please understand, it's all about the ego only, the I which is there, the body consciousness, and my protectiveness. I keep protecting, defending, justifying. That I keep playing the game all around. This has to dissolve. So this is all there in our conditioning. Big points are all in our conditioning, coming from many lifetimes. So he says, this Atma must attain moksha. See, that lady wanting to go and merge. What is that? He wants to leave the body. And everybody, even if you sit and try to practice, I want to merge with God, you will first want to leave the body. You will never say, I want to sit here and pull God in. Those who are attempting liberation, they will want to leave the body. That is the first thing that will come. That's a subconscious stuff. So mukti is to be attained in this very life when the Atman is in the body. Now he's telling, become a jivana mukta indirectly. Because when you attain freedom while you are in the body, that is called jivan mukta. Though the outward bodily parts are various, all is one in the invisible subtle. See, that is what the practice we do. We become aware of the brain, the chest and heart and lungs. We all, all are pieces. So he says, outwardly body parts are various, but all is one in the one invisible subtle. The divine presence that can experience this diversity, that is one. Now, those who are seriously doing it, where is the difficulty? Tell me, when I am experiencing my heart, my lungs, my toes, my head, my eyes, everything as one experience. You go outwardly, where is the difference where I say, I am expanding outside and experiencing myself in everything, oneness. Here internally, when I'm practicing my organs, I have one experience. When you go outside, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Parsi, Jain, this country, that country, this path, that path, everything is one as your organs outside, your internal organs and their outside organs. Same presence here, same presence outside, only presence. Where is the difference? Where difficulty? You will have difficulty if you are cheating with this. So what I'm saying, practice from here first. Get the grip of oneness of this. Then you can project it outside. When Jivatman is realized, duality will disappear. We are talking about duality, remember? Problem is duality. How to dissolve it? He's telling Jivatman is realized, duality will. And these are the practices. Divine presence is the most powerful to dissolve duality. The whole universe will become one. Om is Pranava. Om is bodiless, formless. Energy of Om, when in action, is called Pranava. Okay, this is all poetic form of the same thing, that everything is one. This I already said, but I'll still read it in the start of Hatha Yoga 64. He says, there is selfishness in Hatha Yoga, but Raj Yoga is perfect selflessness. This I've explained. In Hatha Yoga, a man seeks his own good. He seeks fame. He seeks power to stop the sunrise of tomorrow. That is Siddhi. You know, they can go to that extent also. The power. First, they will have power over people. Then it will not end. Then they want to have power over gods or astral beings. Then they will not end there. Then they want to have power over sun and the universe. And finally, the Bhasmasura will want to have power over Shiva himself. He seeks to transform a mountain of earth to gold. All Rajyoga, Hatha Yogis are outwardly. So they will have all these kind of tendencies, ideas of even turning mountains into gold. A Raj Yogi never seeks power of any sort. Now you investigate and see. When you look outside, all these powerful paths which are there, all talks about power, wealth, energy, gain, go-getter, success. What is this? Nonsense. It is all Manipuraka. rotating there. Power. Rajas it is, pure Rajas. Rajas is red color. Tamas is black color. Sattva is white color. Rajyogi never seeks power of any sort. Rajyogi who are doing Rajyogi, they will never talk only of this power thing. Achievement, they will never talk. Why? He entirely depends on God's mercy. Teri raza mein meri raza, teri ichha. I will go and conquer. Nahi to say I am Brahman is not just. It is not right to say Aham Brahmasmi. Why? This kindles in us a sense of omnipotence which gives room to the development of pride in man. If I keep on saying Aham Brahmasmi, Main hi Brahma, Main hi Shiv. You look at all the people who are saying all the time, I am Shiva. You will see that arrogance, I am Shiva, you are nothing. And bunch of I am Shivas will sit and they will say, we are Shiva. So, Bhagawan Nithyananda is telling, it is not just to keep saying this. So, what does he say? He says, this gives room to pride in man. Hence, a man must always say, oh God, you are in all and all are in you. So, have that attitude. One is that everyone thing is in you and you are in everything. A true yogi must regard all as himself and himself as all. This must be his real attitude. So if you are XYZ yogi, then make that into a true yogi or true XYZ yogi and regard every path, every religion, every faith without denomination as one. All lineages also merge it into one. This must be his real attitude. And then in 224, this is all on duality that he's talking. This is how to burn duality. So I'm going step by step. First we said, what is the goal? We know. What is the obstacle? Duality. Duality takes you downward. Non-duality takes you upward. So how to kill that downwardness? These are all the things that I'm telling. One is this, what he said, the omnipresence. And then he talks about 224. Now he's talking about this aham. Why? Which is creating the whole problem. The selfishness. I. This we have already talked. Ramana is simply talking about that one. Kill the ego. That separateness. Why the separateness comes? Simple ego. Why I feel special? We feel so special? Because of ego. So he says, 224, oh beggar, burn the delusion of the mind in the fire of yoga. This delusion. I am separate, I am great. We are separate, we are great. Burn this delusion of beggar, he says, in the fire of yoga. Those who have not realized the Brahman do not know this truth. Until you have realized, you will not know this truth. Brahman is the only truth. Without the realization of the supreme truth, one cannot experience real joy. Egoistic tendencies of the mind are not destroyed without the realization of the self. So it's very important that we move more and more towards the self. Sadhvasana. Like exactly Ramana says. Move there, abide in the self again and again. Your egoistic have the bundle of Ananda tight. Be always immersed in your supreme Ananda. This is what we are telling. Be always immersed, be always live always in the divine presence. And you will have that divine cheerfulness. You're happy for no reason. Somebody in the retreat said, what is that happiness? I said, where is it coming? I don't know, for no reason I'm feeling happy. Yeah, perfect. There's no reason to be happy. That is your true state. What is your untrue state? You need a reason to be happy. I need my child to pass in my exam. I need my parents to love me. I need my spouse to bring me a golden ring. I need someone to gift me with something for me to feel good, for me to feel complete, for me to feel the ananda. And the one who does not need any reason is blissful because that's the true nature. You don't need anything from outside. That is why he's selling, oh beggar. Because the more you turn outside for anything, you become a beggar. Turn inward, you are that ananda. Be always immersed in Supreme Ananda. Bury your desire in the depth of your mind. Desire is of no avail, it is fruitless. He's telling, bury these desires. It's of no use, it is fruitless. It simply gives you up. Just with that fulfillment you'll have. Think about all your habits and passions and addictions. Doesn't it give every single time, this time, I'll get that happiness? And when you finish that, what happens? After some time, you want it again. So that is why he's telling it is of no avail, it is fruitless, it is simply a hallucination. Get over it. Destroy desire internally by merging the mind in the Atman. Manonasha. See, he's talking about Manonasha. Nithyananda. Desire, destroy it internally by simply merging the mind into the Atman. How to merge the mind into Atman? You might do the course Chidakasha Gita, or you might do Who Am I of Ramana. You'll see the Manonasha process is almost the same. Approach is different, but the goal is the same, to destroy the mind or the ego, the I. Okay, so that's he's telling, to attain the goal, you have to rise above duality. Duality is your biggest challenge. Now, why do I get this duality? One of the major obstacle. Why am I pulled downward into samsaras? That is your Vishaya Vasanas. And now he's telling, when you move towards the Vishaya Vasanas, that is outwardly, you are bound to have many problems. One of the greatest problem is fear. All those who suffer from different kind of fears. All the time I'm scared, I feel scared of something. I'm anxious, what will happen next? These are all coming from fear. So, sabka baap kaun hai? Fear ka baap. Father of all fears, death. Now, where is the root of this fear? Nityananda is revealing 222, those who are desireless have no fear. Answer is clear. Fear is coming from desires. He says, desire is the cause of fear. Desirelessness, desireless men are always happy because they have nothing to fear. Why? Desire is there, I want to gain it. Desireless, I don't care if I lose it. So if I don't care if I lose it, what will I hold? What is the fear of losing? I don't care of losing my body. Where is the fear? Why do I want my body? Desires. Why I care? I should be in the body. I want to sustain. Lot of desires are there to fulfill. So I cannot afford to lose this body because all those things will go pending. I've invested my interest everywhere. Lot of desires. See, that's the root cause of desires. What is investigating? So if desires increase, it will keep you fixed everywhere. It will keep you invested everywhere, including the ego. The ego also wants to be invested. Ego will not lose. Body also wants to be there. So fear of loss of ego, fear of loss of body. You can see even the fear of loss of ego. Those who even do this practice are having major challenges. Suddenly you will want to run. So many people run from the retreats. बैठे बैठे उठ के भागते. What happens if I don't know what, I don't know, something very uncomfortable. Ego, death of ego. I fear the death of ego. I don't want the ego to die. I better run. Then it being destroyed by the fire of that wisdom. So desireless men always enjoy the supreme bliss of God. You look at all the saints. You look at all the mystics. Fearless. Man does not achieve greatness by possessing material prosperity. Very, very clear. उसमें कोई great बड़ा 30 मार्क का होके कुछ नहीं है. And you attain success. You attain rewards and awards and titles. टंगा उसको अपने घर पे. A man is great by the power of discrimination. This is what makes a man great. Your power of discrimination. Because you can see all this stupid nonsense. A person who doesn't have discrimination, viveka, will be stuck in all these things and still call it great. Somebody had told me once in the path, Jacobji, I'm so fortunate to have you just besides me. Please be with me. I said, why? Hey, sometimes the ego can come up. So if you are there always watching, you can tell me about it. I said, किसी और को ढूंढो. Salary देके ego का रखवाला. Instead of hiring somebody else's awareness, activate your own awareness. Why is that got into dogs? Why do you need people to have awareness? That's a laziness. A man is great by the power of discrimination. So this is your gain. कुछ भी अगर स्ट्रगल करना है, हासिल करना है, इसको हासिल करो, विवेक को, सब हासिल हो जाएगा. Possession of wealth, land, hillocks, big mansions, diamonds, necklace, diamond earrings, finger rings, these do not make a man great. And I can see people boasting about the real estate and how much property and how much wealth and how much this and that. It's not measured by that. Even if Pariah, if he has power of discrimination, is great. Even if an untouchable, a person in the gutter, a bhikari, a dirty man moving on the road, if he has the power of description, he says discrimination. Nithyananda says he is great. A Brahmin who has the power of a Brahmin is he who has the power of discrimination. So these untouchables are not the great ones, or they are not. You don't decide who's a Brahmin or an untouchable by their external appearances. Who has power of discrimination is a Brahmin, he says. Possession of heap of gold does not make a man great. Now you know why I'm telling about your lockets. So you possess more of all this gold and even demonstrate it. That doesn't make you great. But that keeps you feeling you're great. Greatness must be primarily of the soul and not of the body. So this bodily displays, body and its ornaments, body and its skills, ये display बंद कर दो. The greatness is acquainted to the soul and not to this body. Today what we saw Gorakshnathji's story. A man who has realized his Atman is the greatest of men. That's all, period. Avadut message, the message of the mystics. That's your greatness, nothing else. So we are talking here about the Vishaya Vasanas, why it catches and how to get rid of it. 105. I am only taking the most essential Sara here. 105, he says, do not be immersed in materialistic life. The materialistic life can offer happiness, which is only temporary. So this hallucination is what keeps us going. There's no problem if it was permanent. It is not permanent. You gain it, you lose it. You gain it, you lose it. And when is it going to end? The moment you lose it, you want to regain it. The moment you regain it, you want to sustain it. The moment you sustain it, you don't want to lose it. And a man lives in misery. So he is telling, do not be immersed in material life. This is all temporary. The happiness that it offers is all temporary. At some point, leave this worldly life, that is the forest life, and enter into the path of godliness. Now, leave this forest path is telling, worldly life. Leave doesn't mean physically leave. Your tendency, your wrong ideas that sukha is in that, leave those tendencies. You can be in the world and still be a sannyasi. Detach. With any uniform you wear, you don't need colorful dresses to prove it to others. By the way, one step upward, 104 is saying, do not pose yourself to be greater man than what you actually are. All this vastra, abhushan is all pretending to be something else. Be pure both inside and outside. Let there be no difference in what you say and what you do. Practice what you preach, not something on the stage one and one behind the stage something else. Let them be one, what is front and back end. Say what you do and do what you say. Message. So continuing with the previous one, he says, at some point, leave your worldly life and enter into the path of godliness. When you are at your deathbed, you may suffer agonies of your hell. You might not realize it now, but when the time comes to leave the body, you will suffer the agonies of hell. the pain. Why you'll suffer? Because all your attachments, you've never practiced godliness or detachment. So everything will come and stand. That will be a big challenge. You'll suffer all the agonies of hell at that time. Your prana is obstructed by the flowing out of three humors, vata, pitta, kapha. So your prana gets obstructed by these three doshas. Practice yoga, which makes the body to be free from humors. This practice yoga is again the internal breath work, the sushumna breathing through the nadis. If you want to know in detail and the practices, you can do the course, Chidakasha Gita, Hindi. So again, Vishaya Vasanas, what is keeping us tied up? That is what we are talking. As we talked about duality, then we are talking about Vishaya Vasana. Why are we stuck? Why are we not able to ascend? These are all tips I am giving from that sutras. So again, here you can see he's again telling about Hari, 118. Hari is no Lord, Shiva is the Lord. Why? What is called Hari is delusion or Maya. So the worship of Hari means Maya. Because what is the objective of these three tattvas? Brahma is creation, Vishnu is sustenance, Shiva is annihilation or sanghar. So here he's talking about sanghar. Previous verse we talked about it. Srishti Chakra, Sanghar Chakra. Shiva is Sanghar Chakra. It destroys. You can see the people who are listening to these satsangs and acting on it. Your third eye fire of wisdom will burn. This is your Sanghar. All these misconceptions will burn. And that is how the Shivatva starts working. So he says worship Shiva, not Hari. Hari is Srishti Chakra. Sustenance, maintenance, Maya, delusion, he said. We must not be fooled by the shadow, by the Hari Tattva. It looks very godly or liberating. He's saying it's a shadow. Don't get fooled by that shadow or reflection. So to distinguish between the subtle and the gross is delusion. This delusion is caused by the subtle and gross are the same. So subtle and gross, sukshma and stula. When you're deluded, when you have no power of discrimination, you get deluded. You don't know what is real, you don't know what is unreal. You don't know what is gross, you don't know what is subtle. You don't know what is Hari, you don't know what is Shiva. When your intellect is not working, this delusion is caused by the gross. Caused by the gross is multitudinous. To say that this is different from that itself is Maya and is caused by. So this delusion what we have is keep separating the grass as different, God as different. So we say God is somewhere in the ashram and devil is in samsara. This delusion, we are unable to see godliness in everything. That's what he's saying. See God in everyone, Shiva in everyone, in everything. Why are we anti-Muslims, anti-Christians, anti-Hindus? Because we are seeing devilishness in them. We cannot see by reflections. So he's saying, don't be fooled by reflection. They are all only reflections. And it appears that this is different from that. And that is what is called as Maya, he says, which is caused by the mind. So he's telling the obstacle why Vishaya Vasanas and duality. It's caused by the mind, by this delusion. What is the delusion? This is different, that is different. We are different, they are different. This lineage different, that lineage. This religion different, that religion different. This wisdom different, that different. He says, look into the heart and realize the delusion called eternal joy. So, delusion, if you want, go inside and see this eternal joy. Eternal joy, Nitya Ananda. He's telling, find it within. See the eternal soul in the heart. You must say only what you experience. Transparency is saying. Don't think one thing and say one thing. Don't mean one thing and say one thing. Whatever is inside, you speak it out. You must not speak from hearsay. यहाँ वहाँ की अनसुनी बातें. You heard it from there. They said, I'm not sure. I heard. What is in your experience only you must talk. That is why you can say every time we talk about experiences here, I give multitude of experience with everything that's coming here because that is my conviction. I know it is true from my experience. What is hearsay is not ananta. What has repeatedly come to your experience is ananta. Okay. So here the point that I wanted to focus is Hari Tattva. So you can be deluded and say God is in everything. People are there, God is in there. God is in that also. Why should I leave? Somebody was telling yesterday, non-veg. But that's okay. Yeah? I eat it, I don't kill and eat it. So I eat after it's dead. Killing is a crime. These are all justification. But I told when you eat non-veg and see what happens, your mind. Because I was eating here and there little bit egg and this and that whenever it came up and all that. And one day it hurt my health so much just eating this. But I literally had to puke it out and body went into tremendous problem. So when you're doing these kind of activities, it will not suit those energies. And finally I had to say no, enough. So life has to give you a kick. Finally. It has to come from your experience only when you completely say no to it. Otherwise, I can keep giving justifications. Oh, that's okay. There's nothing wrong in it. I just killed it. But it is still eating something that has eaten prana. Why can't you directly go and eat prana? That has eaten and digested, and then you have eaten the one who is digested. So you can't call that health. You are calling it, it is actually your bhoga, your vasana, greed for that meat. So here he's talking, just be careful about this Hari Tattva. Now, one thing you can see, I always tell, going to Tirunamalai is one thing and going to Tirupati is one thing. And there is only 3 hours different from here. You come to south, you go upward, Tirupati is just 3.5 hours. Hardly anybody wants to. There is no icha for people from here to go there. Because tattvas are different. You know who goes to Tirupati? Does anybody go to Tirupati for moksha? Who wants moksha will go to Kailasha or they will come here, Tirunamalai. Or they will come here to Kanjangad. Why इधर भीड़ नहीं है देखो? No rush here. No people coming here with worldly desire. Very less. So 236. Oh mind, banish the idea of duality. Have subtle discrimination. So duality का opposite क्या है? Subtle discrimination. You go into your viveka, you go into awareness, automatically duality will start vanishing. You don't have to keep worrying much about it. Okay. Can you please share the power of a discrimination? Couple of examples. Oneness and yet have discrimination, sometimes confusing. Discrimination simply means you are able to identify, that's all. In your awareness, nothing goes. See, because I'm able to identify the folksness in even in your most divine concepts only, that is the power of discrimination. You can discriminate, which otherwise looks beautiful. It looks very beautiful. You look at a person, he or she is very beautiful. Face is very beautiful. Features are very beautiful. But if you don't have discrimination, you cannot see the features. You cannot see the nature and characteristics and attitudes that are hidden in that. So you will fall for that love. You will fall for that beauty. But those who have discrimination can see the beauty and appreciate the beauty, but yet be wary of it. Are you getting it now? Similarly, those who see divinity, Those who see divinity, they are seeing divinity. Nithyananda, they are seeing Nithyananda ashrams, they are seeing Guru Tattva, they are seeing Arunachala, all those things, divine, divine. But if you just be divine, divine, if you're only seeing that, and if you don't have power of discrimination, you will be exploited. Guaranteed. That is what is meaning. So you see oneness, you see divinity, and that's all that you see. But you can't see the thin plus and minuses in that. So you go to Arunachal. Last time we were there. We were going there. And then some few guys came. And there were some ladies, elderly ladies. And they came and tried to help them. And all good, genuinely trying to help them. But I know why they're trying to help. They're trying to extort money out of them. So I was there and I said, it's okay, I'll take. So I took that lady's hand and I said, it's okay. So they felt a little awkward. And the lady also told me, oh, he was just trying to help, my dear. And he helped me. I said, I know. I know that's what you see. I can see little more. And perhaps I have little more experiences around these places. So I know what happens. And even in your so-called paths, I have more experience than you and detail. So I can see maybe what you can't see. So I am trying to save you. If you don't like that, okay, be with that and get exploited. It's your choice. So he says, abandoning the idea of duality, think that the visible universe is all Shiva the spotless. So that comes first with living in divine presence, and then when you master that, then you see same divine presence in everybody. That's all. I first identify the Shiva in me and I experience it, and I experience it in everybody, wherever I go. So that is the translation of this. Seeing Shiva. Just seeing, thinking it is not going to help. You have to feel it, experience it. There is no disguise. Have everything within you. Faith is permanent in man. Let faith be steady and ever growing. Discover the truth by the means of subtle discrimination. You can see again and again he's talking only about subtle, because you can never get to the refined truth. You will be stuck in what you know. There are three types of truth. When you are me and sitting, okay? Let's say you and me are sitting and having a conversation. You will talk about your truth. I will talk about my truth. But there is a third truth, the actual truth. What you see is your truth. What I see is my truth. But what really exists is the truth. Now, whoever can see that truth, that's it. So that's why he says, discover the truth by means of subtle discrimination. That which is related to subtle discrimination is eternal, nitya, shashvat. Then 187. Body is the house of the soul. Recognition of the body as the house of the soul and not the soul itself is what is called subtle discrimination. Ratna, you can identify with this. More clear. Body is the house of the soul. We did this last time. So I know very clearly when I am in my divine presence, I know I'm the soul and this is my house. I'm not this house. I'm not this body. So what has happened? Subtle discrimination. Recognition of the body as the house of the soul and not the soul itself is called subtle discrimination. What Gorakshnath felt, this is eternal. Identifying the body as the cell. And Allama Prabhu said, no, this is different. This will fall. The one experience this, who experiences this is the real one. That is what we have been doing for so long. The one experiencing, and then if you see all the time, when we do those practices, just after getting in, I will remind you. Become aware of this, and the presence. Who's the one who's peeping through the eyes and all? And suddenly I will tell you, I am not the body. I am this subtle presence. I am not this body. I am this doing. So you'll separate. That separation which you're feeling in experience is called subtle discrimination. So everything. What did I say? Seeing the real, what is real and unreal. in anything outside of you. Subtle discrimination. Seeing it within me also. What is real? Atman. What is unreal? Body. Subtle discrimination. Hari is Maya and Shiva is supreme knower of all. A man who meditates on Hari or Maya to satisfy his desires is never happy. Shiva is the supreme giver of eternal joy, eternal mukti, and eternal bhakti. Hari is keeping the mind in worldly desires. That is Hari Tattva active in you. You can see your afflictions also. Too much in this world and its maintenance, you will automatically get that kind of gods. You just check it out. Like Giri Pradakshina we do, and we see a lot of crowd in the Kubera Lingam, but nobody in the Yamalingam. Because nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to hold wealth. Kubera Lingam. So according to our affinities, if you want to find out which tattva am I, just pay attention to your own interests. You will come to know whether you are moving towards moksha or punarpi janmam, punarpi marnam. Whether you are moving towards sanghar or whether you are moving towards srishti. So he says, Hari is keeping your mind in the worldly desires. Shiva is keeping the mind in perfectly desirelessness. That is how he is identifying these two tattvas. So, if you are moving into that zone of non-desires states, you have attained Shiva at that time. Whenever you are having desires, you have attained Hari that time. So, we are worshipping Harihara. Both together. The day whichever increases, that will be your state of conscious evolution. Hari increases, you will find yourself more in the world. Shiva increases, you will find yourself getting out of the world. That is Shiva Sutras. Arunachal Tattva. So he's telling the more you have desires is a problem. So now he's talking a little bit on desirelessness. These are all sutras to self-realization. There is nothing more to do. 66. Tapas performed with desire for fruits is of no use whatsoever, even though we perform it for 1,000 years. Now observe very carefully where you have been going wrong. All your so-called tapas has a desire in it. Every intent that you're sitting with, any intent that you're sitting with, I am wanting something out of my meditation. Check it out right now, become aware. Or just ask, why am I doing sadhana? Why am I doing japa? Why am I doing tapa? Just go to the depth and be very sincere and honest. Be aware of it. Are the answers coming up more towards worldly? Something for my needs, personal needs? So, do you find yourself, I am doing this for a purpose? My meditation is for a purpose. Whatever purpose that is. Even let's say for self-realization. Any meditation done with a purpose is of no use. Even though we may perform it for 1,000 years, is what Nithyananda says. Identify. You can correct. If you identify all your meditation every day which you do, whichever meditation, whichever path, just identify and see, does it have a particular desire attached with it? If it has a desire, you will have an link attached to it. You'll have an expectation out of it. There is some fruits of desire. Punita, we are not talking whether your desire is pure or impure. Desire is desire. Now, the mind will try to be cunningly playing around, calling it impure or pure, or trying to justifying it, saying, but this is a pure desire that I have. Many say, but it is a pure desire to have darshan of my Guru. It is a pure desire to have darshan of a deity, a pure desire to see God. I'm asking, why do you want to see God? Why? What is going to happen with that little darshan of yours? And what if God is going to present in front of you as vision? What is going to happen? Are you going to keep quiet? Figure it out. I want the darshan of my Guru. He comes right in front of you. And you're getting very excited. And he cares not for you. He looks here and there and walks off. What will happen? Or your bhakti will go, I disappointed. He came, he didn't even look at me. Matlab tha kuch. Something was hidden there. That is what I'm telling you. Some hidden desire. If the Lord comes and goes every night, you'll not enjoy it. Every meditation, if God comes, appears, and does this and goes, even not does this, because this you will feel He's blessing you. So you will be satisfied. Tomorrow also come and bless me. Let us say He comes and don't care, doesn't care for you, you will not like it. That is what is meant by this. That is what Nithyananda is telling. So don't get fooled by all those. When you say my pure desire, impure, goli maros. Desire is desire. You cannot say I have a sin, but it was a pure sin. Sin is a sin. Desire is a desire. It will still create Shrishti only. I'm just telling what is the reason for your doing every meditation. We are not talking about your urge. For example, I had a desire to do this, right? I did this webinar right now. You had a desire to sit here. Some people had the desire to come here. That was a desire. Good desire or whatever. That was a desire. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking your practices, your tapas. When you sit for your meditation, you have a desire to ascend. Good. That is why you are practicing all this. That desire will be the catapult, inspiration. But after that inspiration, when you get the tools in hand, are you fixing expectations out of those? That is what Krishna is trying to tell. Claim not the fruits. Yeah, just to be. Just be. And what has come your way, you do it. When you don't claim or expect for the fruits, it will come to you. So that is what he's saying. Tapas performed with the desire for fruits is of no use whatsoever, even if you perform it for 1,000 years. So you can have faith in what he's telling. Even if this doesn't work in our mind, you can have faith because these people will simply not tell something. Do you think Nithyananda is somebody who will come and just preach one line here and there and go? Man mein aaya bol diya something. Out of some depth only. He is simply telling you attach a desire, it will not function even for 1,000 years. So if you have been doing it, what I'm trying to tell you is remove that desire and do it. Whatever you're doing, become aware of that, separate that desire, don't have expectation in that sadhana or meditation. That is why I'm telling many people get disappointed. You will sit, you will see colors, you will see light, you will feel elevated, blissful. What an experience. But yeah, today 2 hours I said I had this experience, Golimaro experience. Because if I tell you, wow, then tomorrow you will again sit, where are the lights? And the day you don't get it, you will get disappointed, you will get restless. Third day you don't get it, you are going far away because you are clinging, you are putting some desires, expectations to it. Sit with no expectation, whatever practice that is. Why am I doing? I'm doing it. Why am I here in Kanyagan? I'm here for the sake of whatever it is. Why am I happy? I don't know. Without a reason, I'm happy. Can't we be that? Why does everything need to have some expectations? So these are sutras that I'm telling. You rectify these, correct these things, and it will get rectified. If one performs tapas even for one gadiga without the desire for fruit, one sees all in God and God in all. Such a state of desirelessness is called mukti. Let us get our facts clear. Mukti, what it is simply telling you, bringing ourselves to the state of desirelessness. Now you might say, I have children, how can I get into all that? I have family to maintain, no desire. How can I be into that? Should I? Because if I have no desire, will I work? It's not about that. The desires means your fixed outcome that you are putting. You are working. Why are you working? So same reason I'm doing webinar. There's no reason. I'm here. No reason. It has come my way. Work has come my way. Family has come my way. They are all there. Everything is being taken care of. I am not the doer. It's happening through me. If it is happening through that one and it's not happening through me, why am I expecting? That is where the point is. The expectation will always come from the doer. That means there is a doer present. Are you getting it? Remove the doership and do it. You'll still be doing all your responsibilities. Doership is gone. The desire is gone. The expector is gone. So he says, if tapas you do for 1,000 years with this wrong notion, you will not get anywhere. But if you do for one gatika, few moments, few seconds, without desire of any fruits, you will attain that state, that time, where you see God in all in God. That state. That is a state of no diversities, oneness, blissfulness, cheerfulness, purity. You have all experienced it. That state of desirelessness is called mukti. So we all get mukti in fraction seconds. You expand that, you will start sustain that mukti. '89, he says there are various kinds of desirelessness. When a man sees a dead body being burnt, this is what I told, he realizes the futility of human body, which will one day be reduced. So seeing a dead body, you can get that Smashana Vairagya. He says this is temporary desirelessness. The desirelessness which one, what is the correct one? Real desireless. The desirelessness which one experiences after long practice is the goal of life. So this has to be practiced. Consistently looking at the doer, my expectation, my limitations, the connection that I'm putting to for the fruits, the desire that I'm attaching. This I have to constantly work, iron it out. Constantly work, iron it out. So then we reach to a state of desirelessness, which one experiences after long practice, and this must be a goal of life. See, in simple words, he's simply giving us the practice for lifetime. That's all that you need to do. In this desirelessness comes first in a search for Atman. So when you're searching for the soul, the first prerequisite is desirelessness. See, in the realization of the self, desirelessness is of foremost importance. So whoever is aiming for self-realization, these are sutras for that only. Desirelessness is the first prerequisite. Next comes the Guru. Next comes the Guru. Next in importance is the desire to be initiated by the Guru. So I want self-realization. First deep expectation and need must be the desire to be desireless. That is the first prerequisite for self-realization. Next is all your desire, oh Guru, come and initiate me. Where will I find a Guru? To get initiation into for self-realization. Before that, he says, you must have the desire to become desireless. Then only the second one will bear fruit. That is the Guru coming from outside and blessing you. Why? Because if you have a lot of desires, you have not worked on the first point, prerequisite. With the desires, if you go, you will get similar teachers from outside. If you first work on this, that I am desireless, I am working toward desirelessness, you will get initiation by someone from outside or something from outside that will be on that frequency. So next importance is that. So that is what we are telling. Whatever is our need, we cannot blame anything outside. Whatever is our need, that kind of help will come from outside. So you want to look at what your needs are, you look outside, you will come to know. Or you want to find out what is the outside, you look inside, you will come to know. Same frequencies will always operate. From desirelessness, a man obtains liberation from bondage. Sutras, self-realization. By cutting the roots of passion and anger, we can attain eternal desirelessness. Another sutra hint is giving. How to attain desirelessness, passion and anger, if you can kill, whatever way. Anger, why does it come? I've seen even so many saints so angry. Very angry they get. Why? Anger comes because desire is not fulfilled. Desire is the root cause of anger. If I have anger, then I have to investigate and see what is the cause. You will see there is a desire, some expectation which was not fulfilled, I get angry. So desire leads to anger, or anger leads to desire. So he's telling, by cutting the roots of passion and anger, we can attain eternal desirelessness. So you work on anger and passion, that will be a support system for you. Being in samsara and enjoying a little of its pleasures and renouncing it is the second grade of desirelessness. First grade is what? Simply not interested. Only the self. Devi Kaladra, what it says? Other than the self, nothing else. Ramana, what it says? Other than abiding in the self, nothing else. Those who want that state. Those who do not want, that's another thing. But don't have the wrong myths. That I will have interest here also and then get realized. It will not happen. See here, this sentence says, being in samsara, enjoying a little bit of its pleasures, and then renouncing it. This is the second grade of desirelessness. So you can have bhoga, and moksha. After bhoga, you say it's useless, it's not serving, and then you renounce it. But Nithyananda says that is the second grade of desirelessness, not the first. The first grade is the desire to be desireless. So if you're noting down these things, good. These are all many sutras. You can work on these things. And I got it. I got answers of questions. So it's 6. Take a little more minutes. So I am giving you even the numbers, so that you can verify agar main bakwas kar raha hu, ye apna kuch jod raha hai. So you can always see. That is why I always talk with numbers every scripture. You can verify. 272. Vairagya should be like fire burning a cloth. So desirelessness, vairagya are same. You become desireless, you have vairagya. Or you have vairagya, you are desireless. It's like that. When vairagya is highly developed, we can realize the splendor of the Atman. What are we trying to realize? The self. So if you want to realize the self, you have to have tivru vairagya. Vairagya means disinterest in anything other than self. If you feel, oh my God, I'm not ready for that, it's okay. But at least you know now the truths of what is self-realization. You will not be in some myth thinking that by doing a course here and there or by doing little teaching here and there, you will attain it. Because then you only will be disappointed. Many of them say, I have been working so hard for my self-realization, it's not happening. These are the loopholes. So it can wait. There is no hurry that tomorrow only or next year only or this year only you have to have it. But you can be prepared. You can slowly prepare your whole janma and eventually keep working on these things. The mind should be firm, unwavering, and steady, not the body. Mind should be nischal. steady. This happens in your awareness, but he's telling not the body. Body is an outcome. When you become still, body automatically becomes still. But not necessarily the body has to be made still then. Why? You can be walking and still have a still mind. You can be talking and still have a still mind. You can be engrossed in something, or you can be running, you can be doing an activity and have a still mind. Means no thought. It's possible. Check it out. Sometimes when you're walking, there is no thought state. You're frozen there. Mind is still, mauna, but the body is moving. What do you think these avdutas are? Same. Look at Nithyananda. He's this example of this. So for that, he says, mind must be purified. Without purifying the mind, samadhi cannot be attained. Practice is of absolute necessity to develop us in us sattva quality. Practice is also vital necessity for the development of subtle intelligence in us, that is awareness, sukshma buddhi. Unless we practice, the desire for worldly things cannot be destroyed. We have never put an attempt to this. This is the practice, these points. And then slowly it will start fading out. Okay. This is what I said, 63. Bhakti in the beginning is selfish. What we discussed in the start. Bhakti begins as selfish. A beginner in God realization will have in him the ambitions to become spiritually great. See, even the beginner on the path of spirituality, when they are moving towards God realization, in the start, they will have this affinity to become famous, to be noticed, to catch attention. So you can investigate. Do I want to propagate myself? Do I want to keep telling everybody I meet my experiences? Do I want to tell how much I have developed? Do I have those urges? These are coming from that. So he says in the beginning, all this will be there. Slowly it will start fading out. However, as he advances in his practice, all these ambitions vanish and his bhakti becomes perfectly selfless. Slowly, eventually, all this will vanish and he will become still. A man attains perfection, he will see God in his creation. The entire universe will then be to him his guru. Now, when a person attains perfection, he will see God in everything, and obviously, he is going to see his guru in everything. Not only in that body, in that chitra, in that teaching, in that community, in that path, in that cult. He will see the Guru Tattva everywhere. He will see his Guru functioning everywhere. Then he is not conditioned by his ideology. No, my Guru looks like this. It has to be like this. No. So, anyways, that is a state of perfection. When you go to that level, you will understand. 64, he says there is selfishness in Hatha Yoga, but Raj Yoga is perfectly selfless. In Hatha Yoga, a man seeks his own good. I think we have done this. 286. Two 286 is the last one. Though it's not the last of this, what I'm trying to tell you, but the last 286 is the last verse of Chidakasha Gita, where he ends with desireless bhakti. Once you attain that, first is Swartha Bhakti, desire bhakti for self. But once it turns into Parabhakti, desireless bhakti, that is not for enjoyment of worldly happiness. So you can see many of us use these things for worldly happiness. My guru, I remember once he told, when I had problem, he said, your problems should not be healed by your tapo shakti. Whatever Shakti you gather through your practices, you don't sit there to cure and find remedies for your worldly problems. That's very confusing, right? Same it is. You don't use it for your worldly enjoyment, not for your worldly problems to solve it. Because this Tapo Shakti is for your ascension, not for maintenance. Are you getting it? How do I maintain that? There are many ways. Drishtaba. Everything is happening in its own way. Teri raza mein meri raza. Jo Shiva kiya. Jis vidhi rakhe, us vidhi rahi. Everything is fine. It's coming. It will come. It will come and it will go. I need not put all my attention and energy and all my tapasya into this. Because if I do, I will lose all my tapasya in solving worldly issues. This you must have heard for the first time. But yes, it is true. And he says, it should not be used for enjoyment of worldly happiness. This desireless bhakti is called Parabhakti, which is not related to nature. It has nothing to do with Srishti nature. It is beyond the laws of nature. This bhakti is not for getting rid of worldly difficulties. There is no relation whatsoever between this bhakti and worldly sufferings. So what does it say? Nithyananda, I am in bhakti, I love you. My Gurudeva, Arunachala, all bhakti. So I go there, I practice these. All these things I'm doing. Find out for what? If it is to solve some of your worldly problems, it is not, first of all, desireless bhakti. So find out why you are going to these places. And if you are going in the name of even pure love, but you want something out of it, it's a wrong way. So he says bhakti is not for getting rid of worldly difficulty. First of all, he says it has no relationship between your bhakti and this worldly problem. कोई link नहीं है. लेना देना ही नहीं. Your bhakti is for your ascension. And worldly stuff is your own creation. Your desires have brought you into that trouble. Your bhakti is to get you out of that trouble by getting you more of sadvasanas, not to sit sorting it out. So whenever you feel this urge, oh, I am in deep connection with my ascended masters, or this is a very powerful place. I have problem. Let me go to solve my problem. You can think twice if you are mature enough. No one should shrink back from this path of bhakti. One should only proceed in it, like the big lizard in the fort, which embraces the wall and never leaves it. So, desireless bhakti should be very firmly embraced in our heart lotus. So he's telling it should be like that lizard that climbs on the fort, that, the Shivaji and all used to use that, tying up that lizard and putting it on the fort. And it has so strength it will not leave. So people can climb rope, tying rope to his tail. So he's telling desireless bhakti should be like that big lizard. It should never lose its grip. Means yourself, your Atman, your consciousness, your tattva, it should hold on like that lizard, unwavering and detaching from that and coming down to sort out this worldly stuff. Okay, finally, 2, 3 are there. This will help you understand the sustained efforts. It will motivate you. So he talks about intellect. I don't want to go into that section because 50% of this is all about intellect. And that is what we are dealing with. Buddhi, discrimination. We have talked enough about it. You have got the idea. So now he's talking about sustained efforts. First he talked about the goal, human life. This is what you got to do. This is your real reason for being here. Then about duality, to rise about duality. We explained that also. Why we get stuck in duality? Because of Vishaya Vasanas, all the worldly tendencies. Why? Because of the desires, unending desires. So if you don't cater to the desires, you'll never get out of Vishaya Vasanas. Sooner you have to start putting end to it. There is no other way. Or it will simply keep on glorifying and punarpi janmam, punarpi marmam. So we saw desire is the root. How to become desireless? We spoke about so many sutras. All that will help you to become desireless and free from it. And now we talk about sustained efforts. When we understand this, how to keep ourselves sustaining in this effort and why. 157. See how simple it is. Book is complicated. Teachings might be looking complicated, but the sutras are very simple. You have these in one string, and you're there. This is the Sara. Chidakasha Gita Sara. So 157. All men do not attain moksha at the same time, just as all fruits in a mango tree do not ripen at the same time. So there is no point banging my head and say everybody is happening or it's not happening with me. Why am I behind? No comparison. He simply says all men do not attain moksha at one time. So a man in the beginning is full of desires, and eventually he realizes his folly, and then he will be sweet like a ripened mango. Sahaj pakeso meetha. In the start, he's full of desires, so it's okay to have desires. He's not telling it's a sin, but eventually he realizes his folly. He realizes the mistake where it is, and slowly he'll start cultivating himself. And slowly, like the mango ripening itself, he also will become ripe, but not all at once. So, what he's trying to tell here is don't compare. Don't be impatient. That is why Saburi. It will happen. What we need to do right now is just take care of what we can do right now. That's all. You don't have to worry about when, how, where, why, what. So he says a man must cultivate supreme peace in him. Cultivate that supreme peace, this peace. You can do it through this practice of awareness. You can see this will all simply cater to your needs. Shifting into awareness, whatever practice we are doing, you can see it's already catering to all these needs. You can cultivate that peace by neutrality, detachment, living in your presence, feeling I'm not the body, I'm not the ego, I'm not the body. I'm the one in it. Cultivate that more and more. When you're living more in that, desires will automatically start ceasing. You're abiding in yourself more and more. So slowly you can see this practice itself can simply get out and get you through all these sutras very easily. 96. Depending on the intensity of the bhakti, one attains mukti. Okay. So it's simply saying how much ever is your intensity is how and when you are going to get mukti. So can we say it's in my own fine tuning, how serious I get into it, how seriously I want it. That is why I said if you are a mumuksh, you will get it. Sure. If you are not, then depending on your intensity, you will get it. If the intensity of our effort is high to get good salary, then one gets a good salary. So if you have that intensity, I want a higher salary job, get it. Why? You are ready to pay the price. Effort also is that much. Else, if the intensity is low to get high salary, then one gets a low salary only. So if you're not bothered, if you say, why do I need all these things? छोटा मोटा आया गया तो भी ठीक है. Then you will start manifesting that kind. छोटा मोटा only. So if you want higher, you create that. Just like that is the intensity here. Whatever is your intensity, sadvasana, do you want to realize? Do you want to get free? How deep you want it? That will simply reflect in your practice. How much do you carry it? You can see me talking 24/7 this only. You wake me up at 2 a.m. and ask me something, I'll start talking on this only. Because that has been conditioned so much in this being. Nothing else to do. So if you are simply in that, that's it. Your intensity is your result. 274. So you can see where all these are split. टुकड़े टुकड़े में इधर उधर सब पड़ा है, but they are all linked with each other. See, similar line. 274. All men cannot attain the supreme being at the same time. Likewise, just like not all men can be millionaires at the same time. So true. Just like all cannot be Arabpatis or Karodpatis, similarly, all cannot be realized at the same time. In this world, all men will attain the supreme being at one time or the other. So that's an assurance. Some or the other time, it is surely going to happen. Everybody will attain it. There is no doubt about it. You might play the game little more, but you are sure to attain it sooner or later. The difference is only time. It's only a matter of time. There is plenty of water in the sea, but the quantity of water one fetches is proportionate to the size of the vessel one takes to fetch water. Water abundant, universe abundant, infinitely abundant, everything is there, but it all depends on your container. So, do you sit with Chidakasha Gita with a spoon? You get spoonful. You sit with a tumbler, you get that. You sit with a bucket, you get that. You sit with a tanker, you get that. God is great and all merciful. So God gives everything, no impartiality. The tendency towards godliness is the result of past karmas. Now he's telling, become a little more practical. ಅದೊಂದು ಪದ ಅಡ್ಚೇಕೋ ಎವ್ರಿ ಚಾರ್ಯಮಣಿ all Malayalis are sitting here, four of them, five of them, five Malayalis sitting in Kerala, all five Malayalis, like Nithyananda also was a Malayali, you know, no? Koilanti, only Malayalam used to speak. Then little bit that side when he went to Ganeshpuri, he spoke Marathi. He spoke also Kannada, little bit here and there. So English also he spoke, but he full time he was a Malayali. Gujarati also he spoke when he was there. Very mysterious, universal. Okay. हाँ विजलेज का इधर भी जो if you go to Ganeshpuri you will see it is Koli Bhasha. It is not Marathi. It is the fisherman language. Nityananda used to speak that language. The fishermen, all the people who are around it, all Adivasis and fishermen only, simple people. See where his work is in the jungles and villages and the downtrodden, untouchables and all that. वहां किसको सोने का लोकट में नहीं. So God is great and merciful. He's full of mercy and compassion. Means he is not partial with anybody. He is not impartial with anybody. Now he is telling this tendency that you have towards godliness is all the result of your past karmas. It is because of the past karmas that one has hankering for hearing the teachings of a sadhu. Why out of all these millions or out of so many people, here 55, 60 people and plus the Western, let's say 80 people and plus here few are sitting. Why are there is a hankering for to hear the words of a sadhu? He's telling it is because of your past karmas that one has the hankering for hearing the teachings of a sadhu. The tendency towards godliness is the result of past karmas. Now you agree? You are here because of your past karmas, not because somebody has approved or disapproved from coming. So it is because of them that one feels no pleasure in worldly pleasure. So if you find yourself losing worldly pleasures, what was first so interesting, so many people, friends, social circus, and circus, I said, circus here, slowly losing it, interest losing, worldliness. Why? Because of your sadhvasanas, of your past karmas. It's getting activated. And he says, Vairagya is the result of past karma. So if you find detachment happening, Vairagya happening, naturally getting not interested in worldly activities little by little, this is Vairagya coming from your own past karmas. For those who are guided by the vasanas of past karmas, Vairagya will come on its own accord. There's nothing to do. Many of us say automatically, there's no need. Suddenly I feel no interest in it. Suddenly it's happening. Why? It's coming from its own accord due to the past karmas. That time has come. The fruits is to be reaped. Why? Why so late? Why not 10 years back? Why not 20, 30 years back? Why not 50 years back? Because you had chosen to take a detour. You had past karmas of Vairagya, but at the same time, you had some worldly desires. So that made your detour. So you come, you take a body, you directly don't jump into Vairagya. You first finish those karmas. So as you finish your karmas, you'll see, you'll get involved in the world fully. Then slowly you'll start losing your interest in the world. What is happening? Those past karmas are getting over of your desires. They are all being fulfilled and completed. Now your prarabdha of your past karmas, punyas, is activated. Now you will have sadvasanas coming. So you have hankering to hear the teachings of a sadhu like Chidakasha. For such people, separate vairagya is not needed. So he says, for those who are guided by your past karma vasanas, sadvasanas, Vairagya will start coming automatically. For such people, separate Vairagya. You don't need to struggle for Vairagya. Good news for many of us, especially who is seeing automatically Vairagya coming. There's nothing else to do. Okay, there's nothing to strive. It is coming as a result of your past karmas, and eventually, like he says, the mango will get sweetened. All do not get it at one time. So go slow, he says. For them, it is high time now to tread the path of mukti. So he's telling those people who are observing these things, Vairagya coming on its own accord, automatically, without you doing anything. Vairagya and detachment is happening. Interest in the worldly affairs is happening. There he says, now it is high time for you to tread the path of mukti. Simply saying, now you are eligible for mukti. You get that? So these are words of inspiration that I picked up again, that he's telling, go on. You don't have to strive hard or be impatient about it. You observe these things and you'll see it's happening on its own. So that is what Ramana says. Enlightenment is unfolding on its own. There's nothing really to do. So there's nothing actually to get worried. Who's getting worried? The impatient. I want it now. And Nithyananda says, no, all fruits will not ripe at one time. 276. So here he is telling various kind of articles are brought into a fair, Mela. Similarly, peace should be practiced in various ways. So when we are amidst thousands of people, we should have firm will. So now he's telling about how to get through this. You'll be challenged with a lot of obstacles. So when you're in the worldly, you will have a lot of worldly people, a lot of challenges there. So amidst all the thousands of people, you should have firm will. This will, what is this will translated? The first, what we do, goal. You should know your goal. If you don't know, you're a beast, he says. So if I am aware of my goal, that is my strength. That is my shield. That I will not get lost in Maya or Samsara. Always remembering that. So that is what he calls as firm will. When you think wrongly that you are in midst of thousands, the idea of duality arises in you. So he says it's very easy to get this feeling of duality. How much ever you practice non-duality, what happens? Now we are sitting here. Non-duality, okay, feeling good. The moment you go home, your son will come running, suddenly duality will come. You go into the world, suddenly duality will come. So that is natural, those things to happen. What he's telling is the remedy is keep that firm will, that intention, your goal of life, keep it in the back. Always know. So if that is hankering against you, you might first 2-3 times slip and have duality. but slowly you'll start gaining momentum. That is what I said. When you are hugging your child also, don't leave the divine presence. I am the presence, I'm not the body. That if you lose, you'll have duality. But if you stay in your presence, you can still hug your loved ones, but you'll not be lost in that duality. So let's say we are practicing divine presence. Then we see the divine presence in my child. First I see, oh, that was his soul. Now, first I am seeing, I am a soul. I am not this body. I am not what I am imagining. And I am getting an experience. And now I am saying, if I am having this experience, everybody is having this experience. Everybody is Atma. Everybody is Shiva. How will it be for them? Now you start imagining their divine presence. Oh, that is the body. That is a carcass. In that there is divinity. In that there is a divine presence. Look at it. That divine presence is acting, but the ego doesn't know about it. Now you have started investigating. That is how you see this. You transcend duality. Otherwise, there is no thing. Huh? Some one day a Guru Kripa will come and one light will come. Something one day whoosh will take me. Or what is that? The Garuda Vahan will come from top. Something will happen. Many people are in that. Something. एक दिन हो जाएगा, something हो जाएगा. Good to have that optimistic view, but still we got to work. This is my own decision, my own free will. Nobody will intervene in that. So he says, just like an aeroplane moves without the help of earth, so also one must learn to act without the help of the body. So same divine presence. Aeroplane is moving without earth, right? It's moving on the air. So same way, I, the Atman, am moving without this attachment to this body. Grossness is not needed. See, simple, you understand divine presence. If we talk about living in divine presence, that's what it is. Those who have not done it will do it, because I thought of releasing that course. There's a course, but then I thought, no, we have upgraded a lot of things. So next month probably we'll have that living in divine presence. So we can practice that. First we practice and master on ourselves, then we practice the divine presence in everybody, including your families. Two advantages. One is I start living in detachment. I am seeing the God in them. Secondly, I am manifesting God in them. We are bringing that focus all the time. So you are actually manifesting godliness. So he says a traveler, after traveling along in the sun for a long time and gets tired, he goes to the shade of a tree for shelter on the hillside and he forgets his fatigue. So also, whose mind is absorbed in the search of God, forget all their worldly anxieties. Just as in the shade, the sun's heat is forgotten, mindness is forgotten in the absorption. So when you get absorbed in the divine presence, the mindness will go, me, my family member. That will get absorbed. Slowly it will start. Like a traveler is going and they want to rest under the tree, too hot. Under that shade of the tree means under the God's presence. Here we are telling divine presence. So you take the shelter of the divine presence, you will lose the duality. Mindness will go. That is where the problem is. It is not in the relationship, that my ownership. This is mine. That is dangerous. Like a horse being controlled with the reins, with the help of reins, you must control your senses with the help of discrimination. Through the awareness, you can keep your senses in control. Your attention on the senses should be fixed, or you can see your awareness on the senses should be fixed like a nail in the wall. Means your awareness should be like that all the time, fixed like a nail in the wall, always there. Buddhi or intelligence should be concentrated in the head. Your attention should always be above the neck, never below the neck. What we discussed in the start. All your awareness is always in the Chidakasha, upper, because now you can consider yourself like, being moved into this bracket. Your path towards self-realization is determined by where your attention is. If you put more your attention in your lower chakras, you get into samsara. But if you get Vishuddhi and upwards, or you simply keep your awareness on your Chidakasha. or Bhrumadhya. That's it. I think one more is there. A light on the door. One 193, the highest of all powers. They say all the powers that we're talking. He says the highest of all powers is the power of Maya. Now he says, to get through this Maya, it requires sustained efforts to transcend Maya. So now practical spirituality, we are talking, all these things are there, it will take efforts. But sustained effort. ऐसा नहीं कि 4 दिन किया, then I forgot about it, then next month I remember about it. Sustained effort. Okay. രണ്ടെണ്ണേ ഉള്ളൂ കേട്ടോ, നടുവേദന എടുക്കുന്നു. When a man has learned to write on paper, he need not practice writing on sand. 255. When milk has been changed to buttermilk, it cannot be transformed again. So once you start writing on paper, you need not write on sand. In those days, in schools, kids were not taught on paper. Sand, write on the mud. So that was a temporary thing. But once they mastered it, then they were given books. He's saying once you learn the books, you don't need to scribble on sand. Same what I'm telling. Once you have moved to a higher zone, don't sit scribbling your hand in your old. You have transcended that. Move into the next zone. When milk has been changed into buttermilk, it cannot be transformed back again. So this what he's telling is, as you evolve in spirituality, it is an irreversible process. Don't simply try to reverse it. You have transcended, you have transcended. Milk has become buttermilk. दूध का छाछ बन गया. अब छाछ को दूध बनाने का प्रयास मत करो. Don't try to change the buttermilk to milk. Similarly, when man has attained Brahman, which is oneness with God, he does not descend to Brahman with duality. Nirguna Nirakara, once you achieve, you cannot come to the Guna Akara, Nama Rupa again. Irreversible process. We have discussed this in Manonasha. Manonasha is irreversible. You cannot come back. As you finish off your ego bits by bits, you are only ascending. Then you cannot come back again with Akara and Gunas because you have finished. 233. Prana is the mainstay of life. Without prana, there is no sound, no movements of the body. Just like there is no response from a leafless tree to the wind that blows around it, there is no response to anything from a dead tree. Okay. I'm thinking, why did I read this? This is nothing. Number I read wrong. It should be 223, not 233. Okay, I got disconnected for a while. That's okay, fine. I'll continue. The recording will go. We're all sweating here, and the people with me are doing tapas. Literally. When the tapas will end, they're thinking now. It is, you guys sit with me, you'll go mad only. Into this only all. So, yeah. So, greatest of all sciences is the Brahma Vidya. Unless this secret is realized, bondage of karma cannot be cut through. The bondage of karma will not stop until you realize the secret of Brahma Vidya. When one abides in God consciousness, can you see this word? Ramana telling abide in the self. When one abides in God consciousness, he would be able to understand karma. Like you can understand it better now. Each activity one does creates karma. See, you can be very actively noticing everything that will lead to more connections of karma. Karma disappears by itself when God realization is attained. So instead of picking one by one and working on your karma, this karma, that karma, nothing. Be attentive, stay afloat, abide in the self, live more in the divine presence and attain the self. When the self is attained, the rest, that is what Ramana is. Forget your karma, forget your vasanas, forget your tendencies, forget all this, that, everything. Leave it aside, you abide in the self. When you attain or you realize that you are the self, the day you know it, realize it, this karma will automatically eradicate it. That is what even here, karma disappears, realized. Finally, he's talking about Jyot se Jyot Jagao, which I think it may not be time for us to do that, but it's the message, the whole path that I told, moving towards self-realization. Once you get there, he says, almost all fruits have seeds inside, but the cashew nut apple has seed outside. Just like that, our mind should be outside samsara. Like the cashew nut fruit, mind should be outside, not in samsara. But let mind be, but let it be outside. We must not be what is that? Swartha Bhakti means for myself. Here he says, don't keep it for yourself. Whatever you experience, distribute it to others. We must not reserve sugar for ourselves and distribute sand to others. Don't keep the best of things for yourself and give the worst of things to others. We must not lead men to the path covered with forest, though we are following the royal road. Now we are following the royal road. This is the royal road. We must not let Allah, you don't have to jump in there wherever you get an opportunity. People come sometimes asking questions, guidance and all that. Guide them. What you have experienced, distribute to them. You don't walk on the royal road and then allow them to walk more on the forest road. What you have tasted, what you have experienced, we must distribute it to others. And that's exactly, I'm following that funda. Okay, what I have tasted, what I have experienced, I must distribute it to others. That's my Jyot se Jyot Jagao motto. That's there. We must not be selfish when we impart spiritual knowledge to others. Do not become selfish when you are imparting spiritual knowledge to others. It is our bounden duty to see that others also are led up the same path which we have traversed. It is our bounden duty to see that others also enjoy the same supreme bliss which we enjoy. This is the message of Jyot se Jyot Jagao. We must not reserve the sacred duty for any future date. Don't keep postponing this. We must do this immediately, but no man can be sure about his future. Nobody knows about the future. Tomorrow, what will happen? So don't postpone it for tomorrow, I'll do it. Or later, I'll do it. If this is a calling, inner calling for you to help others, to serve others in whatever way you can, assist others. He says if somebody falls into the well, don't allow them to die there. You can help and do your best, whatever you can, to serve others. That's a great karma, actually. It's one of the best karmas that you can be doing to serve others, to help others. Okay, finally, the last line that he says here in 282, let the feeling of mine and yours disappear. Let the qualities of Jiva be unified. Divine presence in me, divine presence in all. And let man become a Siddha, the one who has the path of Atman, O mind, conquer both birth and death. O mind, be free from birth and death. O mind, be free. So that's for today's session that we took into. In case you want to go through this whole thing, I'll put it up. This also there in YouTube, because this is for everybody. Let them understand the theme and sara of Chidakasha Gita, and it will clear many of their misconceptions that they have on the spiritual path. And you can share these videos to the people whom you feel like it can help them understand the path, spiritual path better. Okay. So with this, I take your leave. Thank you all for being here, for all your presence, with which the satsang happened. Thank you all here also who came all the way to sit here and be together. With this, we take your leave. May we all be blessed. May we all be free. May we all evolve. Avadhuta Chintana Shri Gurudeva Datta Nithyanandam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudechyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Stay blessed then. Catch you some other time. Bye. Tomorrow or day after, I'll announce all the inner child who are doing the third follow-up session we will have. Okay. But I just need your interest. Only those who are interested, all those who have attended the inner child, they send me a message. Some of you have said, only those people we will sit and do tomorrow or day after. Okay. Bye.